All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuolumne County. We're opening the meeting at 9:07. So I always like to say thank you so much for taking time to be with us. This is not always the most convenient time. Thank the state constitution. Everybody meets 9 a.m. on Tuesdays. I really appreciate folks being able to make some time to speak with us this morning. If you're here for general public comment, you're here for the items, whatever it is, thank you for participating. And even if you say something where we might be doing a bad job or you think we're doing a good job or whatever it is, I do appreciate it. And I think our board appreciates you being here. So with that, calling the meeting to order on our May 20th, this is an amended agenda, has a couple of things that were added onto the consent calendar as well. We have these in the back. And with that, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. How about we have our undersheriff lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, thanks to the Pledge of Allegiance for reminding me that that moose is still there, Mike, and I think we got to talk about this at our workshop. All right. So with that, we'll be opening oral communications. This is the period of...
I'm sorry to
Yes.
interrupt.
We have to do the announcement.
Yes, and we need to go through the process for Supervisor Kirk. Thank you.
Supervisor Kirk is tuning in remotely to the meeting. We have a process to go through to be able to go through that. Supervisor Kirk, I believe you have a statement.
Oh, I didn't know I had a I was supposed to have a statement other than, I requested this. I came down, I thought, with the flu last week, but it ended up being something a little bit more serious. So I was able to get treatment, but I'm still on the mend. So I requested that I could still participate via Zoom. I am at my home, in my attic. If you hear kids in the background screaming, it's because they're homeschooled. But I do appreciate the opportunity to participate via Zoom, and hopefully I'll be with you guys tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes.
Great. And I believe we do have to bring to the board and do a vote. Legal, can you add anything else to that as to the compliance nature?
Right. Pursuant to AB 2449, Supervisor Kirk has requested to participate under emergency circumstances or just cause. So now your board needs to vote to approve that. And then he'll be able to participate. As you know, all the votes will be by roll call today. And Supervisor Kirk will participate via audio and visual today.
Great. Thank you. As everybody knows, I think I would love to attend all these meetings from Cabo. Unfortunately, we have very limiting circumstances when we can do this. One of them is, as mentioned, for emergency circumstances. So we'll bring this back to the board if there's any discussion. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a motion to approve the remote attendance pursuant to council's, I forgot the number already, but AB 2449 and approving Supervisor Kirk to join the meeting remotely.
So moved.
All right, moved by Supervisor Campbell.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Griefer. Do we have to do public comment? Okay, we'll open up public comment on that specific item if any members of the public would like to speak. All right, thank you. Thank you on behalf of him, not me. I'm fine. Good. So we'll bring it back to the board and close public comment. We have a first by Supervisor Campbell. We have a second by Supervisor Griefer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstaining? All right. You're back on the board, Anaya. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Wonderful. All right. With that, we're going to move into oral communications. This is the open comment to be able to talk to the board about anything under our purview that is not under the agenda as listed. You'll have 3 minutes to be able to speak about whatever topic or update you'd like to provide for us. And please come to the podium. Hey, good morning.
My name is Reginald Zankiewicz. I came to this county back in 1975, and I have seen some of the worst stuff in this county since I've been here. Tuolumne Road is only just about a year old, and it's already falling apart. And it's not getting fixed. Why? Our roads, our back roads that can bypass all these lights and all the traffic are horrible. You bounce yourself to death. Here's another one, ladies and gentlemen.
And Reg, if you don't mind, it needs to be addressed to
When
the
we
board,
vote-
not to the public. Thank
When
you.
we vote, and the total amount of people that do vote are less than 100%. Let's say it's 42% of the total people that are registered to vote. And 21% or 22% vote. That's a minority. So the majority.
And Reg, I'm sorry to jump in
So
again.
the majority of the minority is what's ruling this country. That's wrong. It should be a 62% or better for any election by our elected members here. If that can't go on, then this body should be resolved.
Great, thank you for your comments. And sir, if you'd like, I believe we have our Public Works Director here if you wanted to specifically talk about Tuolumne Road as well. Morning.
My name's Elizabeth Holden. I've lived in Tuolumne County for 25 years. My youngest son has autism. He doesn't have a pleasant form of autism. My son has a violent form of autism. He has received IHSS protective supervision for 17 years. He's 27. I'm his provider. I have the scars to prove it. I do not judge him. Our 17th house call was on May the 14th of this year. It is our 4th social worker in 2 years. She wouldn't talk to me. She, in fact, told me she would only speak to the recipient. Now, I can have the recipient stand up right now, and he looks like a grown man. He's 6'4", he weighs 280 pounds, and he is training to be a professional wrestler. I know, you're going to say that sounds odd. She got mad at me when I used the word honey twice. I'm going to call every one of you honey or sweetie, but I'm not going to call you babe, because that's what I call my husband. But in general, you're all just sweeties. You're cute. That's what you are, you guys. They're women. It doesn't matter to me. She asked him if he could cook. He said, I can cook a frozen pizza. She said, oh, that's fantastic. That's very nutritious. Okay. He can eat pizza 3 times a day for 365 days a year. And in her eyes, that's healthy. He won't wash his clothes, but he can read the instruction on the washing machine. He is entirely brilliant. Every way along through the meeting, it became more evident that she had already made her decision. In fact, she told me, I will have somebody else call you. Now, this is real important because it's not a phone call that you're supposed to get. It's a piece of mail. Pieces of mail that he doesn't get, although we have changed
And
his
that's
address.
the time for the 3 minutes. I'm sorry, we have to keep that consistent. We do have our Director of Health and Human Services here.
Annie?
in back. Annie, if you'd like to be able to
Okay,
speak with her. Thank you. Good morning. And if you don't mind adjusting the mic a little bit, there we go.
I'm here this morning. My name is Carolyn Travels. I'm here this morning because I heard an announcement on the radio. I don't see it on your agenda, but about you folks wanting to raise fees for mobile home dwellers in our county. I've been here for 10 years now and lived here.
And sorry to interrupt, ma'am. So we do have that item. Thank
Oh.
you for that. The item is going to be, let me see, where is that? It's item 13, which is consideration of establishing from $14 to $21. So we will be discussing that at the board, and so the comments will be for that period of time.
Okay, so I
We'll have
need
a
to wait.
presentation on it too. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. The second grand jury report has dropped, and here's a quote from the report. After years of kicking the can down the road, rather than aggressively, efficiently, and thoughtfully confronting major financial issues, the county is in a serious financial bind. It's time to address the issues and find permanent solutions. Just like the first report, this one is not surprising, and it should be embarrassing. But in addition, it's extremely frustrating for those of us business owners, homeowners, and general tax-paying citizens. We are all held to account. We are beholden both financially through taxes and sound bookkeeping practices, in addition to beholden to all the regulations we are required to follow. Meanwhile, it would appear that government that imposes those taxes and regulations upon us are not held to the same standard. I can't believe that you all wanted to raise taxes on the people, knowing full well that this was going on. And for all of you Trump haters, both on the board and county employees, if you participated in this so-called kicking of the can down the road, then congratulations, because you helped to get Trump elected. This is one of the major reasons why people voted for Trump. All that being said, these grand jury reports are a good thing. In a way, they are an answer to prayer. Without a light shining brightly in a problem, then that problem will rarely be fixed. But when the light hits it, it demands attention. The question now is, can it be fixed? It's not just a county problem, it's statewide, national, and even an international problem. And there are many who don't even want it to be fixed. They prefer to stick with the status quo of just kicking the can down the road. For those who do want to fix the problem, it will not be easy. There will be many slings and arrows from those who oppose what you are doing. I am thankful for those of you who are willing to take that on. For those of you who do not want to solve the problems, then you are the problem. Either help or get out of the way and resign. Addressing the grand jury reports and tightening up on the budget is a good start, but as Tom Crosby recently stated, it's only half the equation. What about the long-term income solutions? That should be an exciting conversation, but one that will need to wait. Father in heaven, I've stood right here and I've prayed about money so many times. If what we are seeing in the county and in the world is an answer to those prayers, then thank you so much. And please keep helping us. We really need your help. I pray for a county with a vibrant future, not one that is in a consistent state of managed decline. I pray these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, good morning.
My name's Brooke Avery, and I'm totally unprepared for this, so I'm going to shoot from the hip here. I volunteer my time with Special Olympics, and I found there was a really big need in this community. I got into working with our most delicate members of this community. I don't work for IHSS. I'm in here today on my personal time. I'm here today, our personal time, with someone who I did get the permission to speak. I've coached him in basketball. I work with others. What's happened is there was a meeting at the house here, and we want to know how to handle this because what they're saying is they speak with the recipient of services, and they'll only speak to him, not someone on his behalf. The level of the competency, he can control himself at certain times, but he does need the supervision. This lady, Christina Nixon, proceeds to say that he's aged out of protective supervision. I'm going to tell you something. You don't age out of autism. You don't age out of multiple sclerosis. You don't age out of debilitating things. What they're stating is that he's aged out of this system, and they maybe mailed him a letter, but they didn't agree when or how long ago changes of addresses. And I'm here to state that we have members in this community, and he's not the only one, but there are budget cuts being made within the Medi-Cal or IHSS services that are severely impacting those with mental health issues. We hear the word mental health. Let's get real specific about autism. If this, and I got his permission to speak to you guys, I asked him, and he sat there and gave me this permission because I wouldn't say a word and have everybody notice it because I have respect for them. These people that came into the house, when they left, they don't see the storm that is behind stating that someone ages out of the system. This is not a condition that goes away. It's not a light condition. It's there 24/7. So what I want to know is how will the county address those budget cuts, because this gentleman has not aged out of the system, and this board right here needs to look at the facts that we need to look and make decisions of what's conducive to his mental health as well as the safety of this community. Whose responsibility is that?
Great.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I believe she may be speaking outside. We do have other Health and Human Service staff here. Might be able to speak with you, Tammy with Behavioral Health, until Annie is free.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tammy and who?
Tammy, right in the back, raise your hand. There we go.
Thank you, I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to say that we still have the entire surface of Tuolumne Road in our neighborhood as a neighbor. We don't want the entire surface of Tuolumne Road that was removed in our neighborhood. It was put there with the understanding that there was a permit on the parcel that is located on Industry Way and also borders Rugged Trail Road, which is a residential area. That is, it's been a functioning landfill for quite a few years, since 2021, actually, and it is not licensed. It is still not licensed by the state. It never will be licensed by the state. The state has been working with us. The state has it shut down. We would like to have that removed along with the other piles of asphalt and demo that are there. They don't belong there. It is not a legal debris facility. It is not a good neighbor. It smells. It's not fun. It is poor. It is not good for property values. It is not good for the kids in the neighborhood. And we don't want it to start working again. Because there's been relatively little action from the county, there has been action from the state, and I want to thank also Alvarado Gill's office for reaching out and helping us on this and always listening. And Steve, you're our supervisor, and I really appreciate all your help and listening to us. And it's come to the point where we need to tell this story in detail. If I only have 3 minutes on every Tuesday morning, I have to start and bring the verifications and send them to everybody all over again, because this is not an okay thing in your community. Nobody wants to have a dump, and it is a dump, just land in their neighborhood. We have pets, we have kids, we have things that shouldn't live with this. And really, the view of this needs to come up Rugged Trail Road to see exactly what we're living with. It is unacceptable. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to be back and tell the whole story in small increments, 3-minute increments, organized with verifications, and I'll bring copies too. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And of course, we do have our staff in the back. I know you've reached out about this previously as well. And good morning.
Good morning, Chair Brandon and supervisors. I am Jen Lopez, Marketing Manager at Visit Tuolumne County. and thank you for this opportunity to speak today. May is California Tourism Month, a time to celebrate the powerful impact tourism has across our state and right here in Tuolumne County. The statewide recognition established by bipartisan resolution in 2016 spotlights tourism's vital role in fueling the economy, government, creating jobs, and bringing people together through cultural exchange. Tourism is more than vacation. It is an economic powerhouse. Here in Tuolumne County, our breathtaking natural landscapes, rich history, and vibrant communities attract visitors who spend money at all our local businesses, dine at our restaurants, stay in our hotels, shop in our stores, and explore our beautiful county. In 2024 alone, visitors generated $307.8 million in travel spending and $24.1 million in state and local tax revenue. That's the equivalent to Tuolumne County households having to pay $1,058 per year to make up the difference in tax revenue. That's real money supporting real services and real jobs for our residents. Looking ahead, we face some headwinds, however. Forecasts suggest a slight decline in travel to the United States, including a projected 1% dip to California. While that may seem minor, it underscores the importance of staying ahead of the curve. California is still the #1 travel destination in the nation, and we want to keep Tuolumne County to remain a shining star on that map. Now more than ever, we must continue to innovate, collaborate, and invest in what makes our region special. Strategic marketing, strong partnerships, and infrastructure that supports the visitor experience will be key in keeping tourism strong. In coming weeks, we will be sharing our marketing plan for the upcoming year with you, and together we can ensure that Tuolumne County continues to thrive as a destination, welcoming guests, supporting local families, and contributing significantly to the county's general fund and sharing our story with the world. Thank you for continued support, and let's keep Tuolumne County moving forward and shining bright. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. All right. Morning. Did you have comments?
Hi, good morning. My name is John Flynn, your political watchdog. The last time I was here was February 4th, morning, afternoon, I don't remember. And I'm here to take a bite out of crime in this county government to the best of my ability. Arf, 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 arf. Okay, enough of that. I sound like Oddball in Kelly's Heroes. He did that a lot. All right, now that's a movie.
We missed you, John.
And then I already got that out of the way. Now, I went to file on April 28th with my roommate at the recorder's office, and it has a cover letter, and it's a subject to record private common law notice. Dear clerk, please find enclosed for recording for the following document: common law notice of La Penza affecting real property. I'm having a rental dispute with my landlord. His name is Tom Holloway. His father was Bill Holloway. He passed away in March of 2024, and they had 80 rentals. And they're trying to get me out of the rental, but nothing legally has been filed through the courts with Tom Holloway. He owns the property, and he hired a property management Wanda Lakes, Twain Hart, Century 21. And she tried to kick me out illegally under the Tenant Protection Act, Assembly Bill 1482, went in effect January 1st. She's mixed up in this. And so anyways, I try to put this, file this, and the secretary said they're going to have to run it past senior counsel. And I said, that's Sarah Corella. And I said, this is a private matter, a landlord-renter. And so, no, we still have to do it. So then he wrote back, Keenan Whitman wrote back and said, I'll be jailed for 6 months, fine $1,000 if I attempt to refile this. Then that was on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, I had Christina Nixon, Tuolumne County Health and Human Services Agency supervisor, she wanted to talk to me. I said no. Anyways, she was trying to talk over. There was elder abuse over the phone. I terminated the phone call, and that was on May 1st. And then and I'm totally discombobulated. I'm not used to being here again. This is so far away, but and I'm going to lose. So anyways, on this, what I want to write here real quick. In California, violating your oath of office can lead to various penalties, including imprisonment, fines, and removal from office, perjury, lying under the oath.
John, and that's the time, but if you'd like, you can leave a copy. I think we can make a copy of it if you'd like to have us read that, so.
No.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next speaker. Good morning.
Hello, Supervisors. Patricia Ray from Rugged Trail Road again, and thank you for this opportunity, tedious or not. I drag around again the business of the toxic waste dump on Industry Way. That starts 5 feet away from me, not much of a buffer zone. And now we have had peacefulness on the surface, but we never know what weekday this mess will start up again and be active with several badly running diesel equipment pieces running at once and absolutely nose and eye stinging air, the low comedy of giant stumps dumped on my fence line with live rats running out of them. And what I want to touch on is the property values of myself and my close neighbors who have affordable housing rentals are now in a pit in the ground because of this next to us. This is not a business park setting of a campus-like setting and an attractive business to live next to. This is deleterious. And my main point here is what's to prevent similar equivalent projects from locating next to other people's houses or elsewhere inappropriate in this county, which could end up eventually impacting tourism as well as our quality of life living next to these. This needs to be addressed. The one in question my neighbor and I keep pestering with needs to be discontinued for good and cleaned up. Thank you. I'll be back.
Thank you. All right, do we have additional public comment? Hi, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Reynolds, and I feel compelled to speak because of these women talking about autistic children and just knowing that the cause of autism could possibly be from vaccines, and just hearing how even as a child now turning into adult is not going to have care is quite disturbing. But I don't know if those women are still here, if they could hear me out there, if they're still talking, but I met a woman last week who has a 13-year-old autistic son after one vitamin K injection at birth that they're given. And he's, one that hits his head against the wall all day long because he's in so much pain. And she got a hold of Dr. Carrie Rivera and autism and the chlorine dioxide protocol. And we know our healthcare system is in shambles since 2020, and the use of vaccines and not properly testing them, using our children as pincushions. As I don't have the information in front of me, but I think by kindergarten they have to have almost 80 injections. Children do now today that, clearly have ill effects. So I'd like to present, alternative methods of healthcare that have been, pushed aside, denied. Doctors that have used this care have been put in prison. And we need to open our eyes to our children are being abused really badly right now with the school system. And there's so many things I could say, But I feel like that autism has come up, and I've seen it even recently as, oh, you're just born with it, which autism does not exist in the Amish community, and they do not vaccinate their children. So we know this is something that is brought on by, possibly that. So if these women are here, I have this book that I could give them the information. Maybe, our Health and Human Services could be open to treating people with somebody that's so simple. And her son has had relief in the last 6 months using the chlorine dioxide protocol. He's actually not hitting his head against the wall. So I think we need to share these things that are available, that are simple, and can help our children. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. All right, do we have any other public comment? Okay. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I came to address the mobile home park incident increase. Excuse me, I know.
Yeah,
That's why
and that'll
I just
be
wanted
later.
to ask you, is there a time frame that would come up on, it's number 13?
Yeah, the consent agenda generally doesn't take very long.
Okay.
It tends to be pretty fast. We do have a behavioral health advisor in 12, so I would guess, I'm going to guess, I just want to preface that, probably around 10:30. So
Oh, okay.
that'll
I
be the
appreciate
time for that comment.
While I'm here,
We-
I just want
It has to be on that, though, if it's,
Yeah,
at that
it
time.
will. I'm just going to piggyback on a couple things that people have said. On the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau, one of my pet peeves is the closure of the historic hotels in Columbia and Jamestown. And I realize this may not be the forum. It has to do with the state parks, and they're trying to get a concessionaire for Columbia. My question is generally, because the state park is so well funded, and, they have so many rangers and interpreters and other workers there, why can't they go back to opening up the cottages and the historic hotels and run it themselves? It just seems very odd to me, and I know this process has been going on for years. And then in Jamestown, that's a whole nother issue. A lot of it has to do with the Mathesons and the tribal, ownership of, I think it's his Jamestown Hotel. I may be wrong, or the National. And it's just really disturbing to me that we're trying to promote tourism here, and yet, my family, who's been coming up here for decades and decades, we've been here over 100 years. If I try to organize a family reunion, they all want to stay in the historic hotels because they've done that, through the years, and that's just not, it's not happening. And I just wonder why that has taken so long to be talked about and resolved. And that's all.
Right.
I did buy an America the Beautiful pass the other day, so I'm happy
Wonderful.
with that. And I do hope to get out there and see more, national parks and really be, a tourist in your own hometown, I guess is what I'm saying, because this is my home. And I know when you do live places, and I have lived different places, you tend to just, say, oh, I'll do that next week, I'll do that next month. It's there, so you figure you're going to do it. But I try to make a point to get out there, and see what I can see as much as I can. And I appreciate everybody who facilitates that. But I think the historic hotels is a real issue that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I encourage you, same with anybody, any particular district issues, please take my card on the way out, since you mentioned District 5, but you can always reach out to your county supervisors. So, do we have any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close the, oral communications period. Called public comment on items and oral communications at the beginning, and it gets very confusing. All right, so with that, we will move into staff reports. Do we have any reports from staff? Hi, good morning.
Chair, members of the board, Katie Andrews, EMS Administrator. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the third day of National Emergency Medical Services Week, which runs this year from May 18th through May 24th. This marks the 51st annual celebration of EMS Week, a time-honored tradition first authorized in 1974 by President Gerald Ford. to recognize and celebrate the life-saving work of EMS professionals across the country. This year's theme is We Care for Everyone, a powerful message that speaks to the compassion, commitment, and inclusiveness at the heart of emergency medical services. Whether responding to accidents, medical emergencies, natural disasters, or public health crises, EMS teams show up every day with unwavering dedication to care for our communities, no matter who you are or where you live. Here in Tuolumne County, we are proud of the critical work done by our EMS professionals and the entire system that supports them. From first responders to dispatchers, nurses, and hospital partners, they are the backbone of our emergency care infrastructure. Throughout this week, the Tuolumne County EMS Agency will be sharing educational content on the Tuolumne County Public Health social media pages, spotlighting the agencies and systems that make care possible in our region. We invite you all to follow along, learn more, and join us in recognizing these heroes who embody what it means to care for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Brian Bell, Community Development Department. I'm here today to share a few bits of industry news and legislation relative to the Building Department and Development in the state of California. May is Building Safety Month. It is recognized around the world as a month to consider the built environment, the fire and life safety considerations applied to the built environment, and the industry professionals that keep these places safe. We encourage all citizens to go to iccsafe.org to learn more about Building Safety Month and the provisions of public safety that it provides to our community. Some items of legislative consideration, some of you may have seen in the most recent, one of the most recent editions of the Union Democrat, that AB 306 is pending at the state legislation. Existing law allows for local jurisdictions to make changes to adopted building standards when express findings are present related to geological, topographical, and climatic conditions, and or any items which can be more restrictive than the adopted codes. AB 306 seeks to provide a pause on local amendments to housing projects through 2031, unless they are deemed as necessary as emergency standards to protect health and safety. Any local amendments that are made by a local jurisdiction are required to be submitted to the California Building Standards Commission for approval and acceptance. AB 306 would prohibit the commission from accepting any local amendments that are in conflict with that pending legislation. Some of the items found necessary there are modifications, substantially equivalent to changes that were filed by a governing body in effect of January 1 of 2025. In short, if you don't have it on your books as of January 1, 2025, you cannot implement that, anything more restrictive than that, until 2031 relative to housing construction. In addition to that, AB 306 would limit the intervening code cycle adoption, which happens every 18 months, and it would limit those changes for editorial or clarity reasons, and emergency standards and items relative to home hardening from the State Fire Marshal's office. A residential dwelling unit-based model home design approved under those standards shall also apply to all future residential dwelling units based on that approved model home design for a period of 10 years or the completion of that subdivision. So it's important to recognize that the model homes will also be able to carry those forward if they've been approved prior to that date. In short, the hope of this legislation is to provide some cost-effective relief to housing construction, and I would encourage anyone that has questions on this or any other pending legislation that affects the development world, encourage them to visit calboard.org and visit the legislative bill reports for a complete status of such legislation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nathan Gorham. I have the opportunity to, and I'm honored to come in behind Chief Andy Murphy's position to serve as your Assistant County Fire Warden for Tuolumne County Fire and Groveland Community Services District. I've been fortunate enough to be a resident of this county. I reside in District 4. I've had the opportunity to spend over 20 of my 25 years in the fire service serving the citizens of Tuolumne County. I look forward to working with the board, other county government departments, local cooperators, and the public. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And welcome. Good morning.
Morning.
I think we got to get a taller microphone. We keep hiring tall folks.
Eric Aiken, Director of Library and Recreation Services. Just here to talk about a couple programs that we have going on or coming up here in both library and recreation. First and foremost, studies have shown that kids reading during the summer has enhanced comprehension, fluency, and vocabulary skills. And so with that, we're really excited to announce that we are offering our annual summer reading program at all of our branch libraries. The theme this year is Level Up at Your Library. The kickoff event for this will be on Tuesday, June 10th at 10:30 a.m. The summer reading program will run through July 24th. Kids can sign up at any of the branch libraries, so Groveland, Tuolumne, Twain Harte, or Sonora. Each library branch has activity days, summer reading activity days. Sonora will be on Thursdays from 2:30 to 3:30. Tuolumne will be on Tuesdays, and Twain Harte and Groveland will be on Wednesdays. For our 0 to 6 age range kids, we'll be doing our 6-hour reading challenge, and for those 7 to 12 and our teens, we'll be doing our 5-book challenge. Kids will get some prizes for completing some of the tasks within there. Also, through the library, part of our literacy program, we are providing another tutor training. So anyone in our community that's looking to tutor and help those in need of literacy skills, our next tutor training is on May 24th at the Sonora Library from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And again, you can just sign up for that at the Sonora Library. On the recreation side, I just wanted to let the public know that the registration for most all of our programs is currently open. So that would be our swim lessons, our summer rec program, our leagues, our camps. You can go on to the Tuolumne County Recreation website and view our activity guide. And I would encourage the community to continue to log in and look as we are continuing to add new classes as we go. So we will be adding new classes as we move forward through the summer. So continue to check that out and see what we have to offer. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Let's see, we have another. Good morning.
Back to short person. Good morning, board. Dory Beats, your Office of Emergency Services Assistant Director. A few updates with the peak of wildfire season upon us. We would like to remind everyone to sign up for emergency alerts. Our recent emergency alert notification test went off very well. We had numerous amount of public calling us to thank us, but also just we're encouraging that everyone in your household signs up for alerts. So if you have 4 people with cell phones, everyone needs to sign up independently. If anyone has concerns or they have questions or they need assistance, they can call our office at 209-533-6395. We also were successful that day at issuing our alerts of our outdoor audible sirens. 5 of them did go off that day. We are encouraging individuals still to fill out the survey if you heard the sirens. And those in the communities of Groveland, Tuolumne, Twain Harte, Cold Springs, and Strawberry. All 5 of them were issued at the same time we did our emergency alerts. So if you just search Tuolumne County OES and then get to our emergency alert side of it, you can get to that survey and fill out that survey. It's really important as we collect information just to know and understand how far we are reaching individuals in our community. Second, there are 2 defensible space projects that are currently going on here in Tuolumne County. One of them we manage through our office, and that will service the communities of Miwok Village, Miwok Village, Cedar Ridge, and the Yankee Hill side of Columbia. Please call our office again, 209-533-6395, and our office will help set you up with that. The other project is actually with our partners, which is Tuolumne Fire Safe Council, and they're serving all of the other communities outside of those 3. And again, this is for elderly and income eligible individuals to do defensible space around their resident. Really important need that we have in Tuolumne County, and in order to reach the Tuolumne Fire Safe Council, you can call 209-642-8304. So 2 different projects going on. If folks call our office, we can always get them to the other number as well, and we've been doing that the last couple of weeks since the advertisement came out. Lastly, I would like to say a huge kudos on behalf of us and also fire and welcome our new chief, but kudos to the probation work crew and IT staff who did an incredible job in making sure that we were all moved in different offices. We could not have done it without them. Their professionalism and also their assistant is greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other staff reports? All right, seeing none, we'll close that section and go back. We'll be moving into the consent calendar. First, bring it to the board if there's any items that we'd like to pull off consent.
I do.
That's Supervisor Griefer.
Item number 1, item number 3, and item number 9.
Okay, so 1, 3, and 9 are pulled off.
I'll take 4 and 5.
All right, guys. Let's see. It's going to be a little bit. 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. Correct?
1, 3, 9.
Yeah, 3 and 5.
No. 4 and 5. Okay. If there's no other ones to pull off, if we can go into the consent count, if the clerk can read items 2, 6, 7, and 8.
And 10.
And 10, yep. And 11.
That's not consent, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll pull that one.
And 10.
11.
Right. Everything but 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10.
And 11. I'm pulling 11.
And 11. Okay. 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, and 11.
Okay.
Right?
So we still have 2, 6, and 10.
2, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Got it. Okay, and then I also just want to mention that the 10 a.m. appointment has also been pulled by staff.
Okay.
Item number 2, determining there is a need to continue the emergency actions ordered by the county administrative officer as a result of a plumbing failure and resulting water damage on April 3rd, 2025 at the A.N. Francisco Building located at 48 Yaney Avenue, Sonora, California, pursuant to the Public Contract Code 22050 and TCOC 3.22.060 for fifth vote required. Item number 6, adopting resolution 42-25, recognizing May 18, 2025 through May 24, 2025 is National Public Works Week. Item number 7, approving the appointment of Leon Cassis to the Area 12 Agency on Aging Advisory Council for a term set to expire on January 31, 2027. Item number 8, accepting the resignation of Anthony Lopez as a discretionary representative to the Tuolumne County Child Care Planning Council and directing the clerk of the board to send a letter of appreciation and post a notice of vacancy. Item number 10, adopting resolution 43-25, approving amendment 2 to the Mother Lode Job Training Agency JPA agreement.
Okay. So with that, we'll open up public comment on those specific items. All right, we have one.
Good morning, Board.
Good
Blessing
morning.
Scott Heim, your Public Works Director. This National Public Works Week, we proudly recognize the theme, People, Purpose, Presence, a reflection of the heart behind everything we do. Our Public Works employees embody these values each day through their dedication to maintaining essential infrastructure and services that enhance the quality of life in our community. People are the center of our mission, our team, and the community we serve. Our purpose drives every effort, from safe roads to public spaces that connect us. Our presence is felt in every road repaired, the infrastructure we rely on, and the everyday services that keep our community safe, connected, and thriving. To our 79 employees, thank you for your unwavering commitment, hard work, and the positive impact that you make every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Blossom. Is there any other public comment on the remaining items on the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Looking for additional comment or a motion on items 2, 6, 7, 8, and 10.
I'll make a motion that we approve those items as presented.
Okay.
Comments?
We still have comments.
Just comments. I just wanted to say thank you for the roads. They get hammered online and all over that, they're the force that doesn't be seen. People complain all the time about the roads, and I'm glad to see that the work is out there and that you're doing a great job. And I know one of your problem children is Bonds Flat. I get calls on that all the time, so keep up the good work there, and tell your staff that I'm disappointed that our chair walked out on your presentation, but tell your staff that I really appreciate the hard work and the unsung heroes that they are to keeping our roads open and clean. Thank you.
And I agree with that. And Supervisor Brandon did let me know ahead of time that he had to step out for a meeting. So, no, I agree with that. Public Works is one of those things where when everything's working well, you don't hear anything, and when everything's not working well, then you hear from everybody.
That's exactly right.
So I do have a motion by Supervisor Holland, but I don't have a second yet to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. I'll call, it's going to be a roll call vote. I'll go ahead and do that myself this time, and I will call Supervisor Holland.
Yay.
Supervisor Griefer.
Yay. It's an aye.
Yes, aye, whatever.
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. So the motion carries, and the consent items previously listed are approved, and we'll move on to the very first item that was pulled, which was item 1. I believe Supervisor Griefer, you pulled the minutes?
I did.
Okay. Do you want to speak to that first, or I can have... Okay. Oh, that's right. So we'll have Nicole read the item, and then we'll go to your comments.
Item number 1, approving the minutes of the May 6, 2025 meeting. And you guys all have updated copies, as well as there's copies in the back for the public.
Thank you. Yeah, I pulled this because, as you know, I wasn't here for this discussion. And I was when I got back and I reviewed the footage and then kind of the minutes that were presented, I was a little confused because it looked like there was 2 actual votes about not funding or not approving item attachment A, but then there was a big discussion about $1,000 or $1 million going here and $500,000 going there, which I believe also failed. So I want to make sure that the public is, if I'm confused, I'm sure the public's confused, or the reverse.
Well, I can have county council or CAO weigh in on that, but my understanding was the expenditures was approved, but then the motion asked for by staff wasn't approved.
Well, and I guess that's the clarification I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so one part was approved and the other part wasn't. But
well, that's not what the vote record said. That was kind of my that was my question. Is that it says approved here, but then
we just talked about guidance. We were talking about those items as a guidance in the next year as possibilities, but nothing.
Right, we're not. I guess my question is, we're not funding these things. It's a wish list that if we want to go into the next budget cycle, that we would throw that on the.
So I can respond. I watched the video again yesterday, and then I recommended some changes, which I think you should have before you, the amended minutes to make it more clear. So the table A, the attachment, was not something the board could agree on, so that was not approved. Separately, the board did actually take a vote and provide direction on those items that are listed there, and that is for the 25-26 recommended budget, and that is just, as Supervisor Holland pointed out at that meeting, putting it into the draft budget when it comes before the board, and then it's not finalized until your board actually takes action on it, which will be on June 17th. So these are just sort of direction on how to create the budget for 25-26. But it was an actual vote. It was a formal vote.
Was it a 4/5 vote?
It was a 4/5 vote, and it was unanimous.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have voted because it was supposed to be just direction.
Yes.
I think that was the confusion.
But it was.
That's what I was going to say.
Here's my issue with
it should
that.
have been direction because it's something in the future of just getting thoughts.
We really should have only voted on attachment A, yes or no, and then provided direction on these other things.
Right. Because obviously you can see where I'm going with this is that Groveland was not, or District 4 was not represented in this discussion.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my whole point of why are we having this discussion? Well, one of the supervisors wasn't going to be here in the first place, but I understand that there was a timing issue and things like that. So if we're going to have this discussion, all of us should be at least present.
Yeah, it'll come back, because when we
Well, I
talk about the
understand. I'm just saying,
budget and-
that's why I'm trying to get clarification.
Yeah, it was just a guidance thing.
And actually, while we're talking about this, I do have an amendment to this board action. At the very end, it says 500,000 economic development in Jamestown. I believe Jamestown and Tuolumne City were both cited. You weren't there, but
Yeah.
Supervisor Kirk, you can probably yes or no. That was my recollection. Is that
Yeah,
okay.
it was for both, but it was going to come back. It wasn't approved. There had to be a plan, so we were waiting for the plan to come back.
Right. I would just make that amendment that at the end it says in Jamestown and Tuolumne City. Okay. All right. Any other discussion from the board? All right. Is there any public comment on the meeting minutes? Okay. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Are you satisfied with the
I am.
amendments?
I
Okay.
just want to make sure that the public knows, because I think what
Right.
was voted on,
Understand.
what was discussed, what was shot out into the Facebook world versus conversation was very muddy. And even my district's like, well, why are we doing this? I thought we were trying to save money. You know, the message that we heard from the staff was, you know, we're making all these cuts and now we're spending money left over right, and it just came off really very poor. And so I just want to make sure that A, the staff understands that we're not just spending all this money willy-nilly, but we're going to look at these items for the next fiscal cycle. So I just want to make sure that that's on the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the only way we can do any of these things is if there's money available, and if it's not available, then they kind of go away.
Right.
So, yeah, that's it. Okay. If there's no other discussion, I'll look for a motion with that one correction.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes with that one correction, adding Tuolumne in there.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Call for the roll. Supervisor Holland?
Aye.
Supervisor Griefer?
It's your one chance to sound like a pirate. Aye.
Supervisor Kirk?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. So motion carries 4-0 with one absent. Okay. So we'll move on to item 3. Nicole, would you please read item 3 for us?
Item number 3, approving a general contracting professional service agreement with Fender Construction, Inc. for repairs and site improvements at the Transitional Housing Project on Snell Street for $225,000 with a total not to exceed amount of $265,000, and authorize the county administrator to sign all related documents.
Me again.
Right. You again.
The only reason I pulled this is because we have a meeting dedicated specifically to this tomorrow. I don't think we should vote on something now if there's going to be changes tomorrow. So I'd like to pull this and then have this item come back at the next regular board meeting after our discussion tomorrow.
Okay.
And I had the same comments as well.
I guess one question maybe for clarity, would it be possible to put it on tomorrow's agenda? Would that be enough notice time? Because if decisions are made, we could take care of it versus pushing it out to.
Yeah, I don't believe so because it's within the 24-hour cycle.
Is
So
this?
your board has a couple of options if that is something you're interested in. One is continuing this meeting until tomorrow, which the only item on this meeting would be this particular agenda item. That's allowed under the Brown Act. The other option is to set a second special meeting tomorrow at a time that would allow us the 24-hour notice period. So we're going to start at 9 tomorrow. Let's say we set it another meeting at 11 a.m. to allow this item to be on, and the staff could create an agenda and post it by 11 today. So those are two options that you can consider if you want to have it on tomorrow. If you are more interested in giving longer notice, then we can bring it back at the next regular meeting.
I think we should give longer notice. I mean, we're only talking another 10 days, and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
So I guess my question to Annie, what would be the benefit of making this decision tomorrow, is this payment for work that's already happened, or is this trying to get contractors on the job as quickly as possible?
Contractors on the job, they're waiting to start
Okay.
if the board moves forward with it.
I could just address one other issue before you make a decision on what you want to do today regarding this contract. The invitation for bid states that the contract will be awarded 60 days from the bid opening. That's today. So that gives the
Mr.
bidders.
Nesper, I do have one update on that. Just got an email.
Just now.
The bidder would agree to an extension.
Very good.
It said till tomorrow, though, so I don't know if he's going to wait longer.
So technically, unless the bidders agree, the low bidder agrees to an extension, they could withdraw their bid. But it sounds like the bidder is amenable to an extension. So I just wanted to make sure your board was aware of that issue.
Okay. All right, other questions? So I'll open it up. Oh, so I see Supervisor Kirk has his hand up.
Yeah, just my recommendation. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I would recommend that we at least pawn it off till tomorrow. We can still make a yes or no decision then. So that would be my recommendation.
All right. Without more discussion from the board, I'll open it up to public comment. Hello, welcome.
Kind of an awkward position since I'm presenting tomorrow on this topic. However, and I'm not staff, so I'll do this as the public. The focus is on Camp Justice tomorrow. We were going to lightly touch on transitional and temporary housing solutions that are in the process map that you'll see tomorrow. And also two members of the supervisors have a meeting already scheduled for later that day. So if we extend tomorrow, that would be problematic for two of your group. So if we can get this done today, that would be very helpful for making tomorrow contained within the time allowed. Thanks.
Other public comment? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the board. And thank you, Tom, for speaking to that. That was kind of my understanding too, is most of what will be talked about tomorrow will be the safe parking, Camp Justice site. This is about performing repair work on a property the county already purchased. So I guess what would be the alternative to that?
Well, I thought we were talking about all the homeless housing projects,
Yeah.
not just Camp Justice. That's the first I've ever heard of that. Because I think we've been pretty clear, like we need to have a comprehensive conversation about the hotel, this one, Columbia Way, if I get the name right, where we're going, what we're doing, what do we have for funds? Are we going to meet those goals, not meet those goals? And what's our, beyond just the Camp Justice project? Because my understanding is we're going to talk about all of it.
Well, I guess my perspective is that the Snell Street property, it's kind of a yes or no option. If you perform the repair work, we can get it open and get people into it. If you don't, then it's just going to sit there vacant like it is right now.
I don't know.
I mean, is
talk
that
tomorrow?
Yes, to answer the initial question, yes, tomorrow we are going to talk about kind of the whole gamut. The focus will certainly be on the encampment resolution grant, which is what funded Snell Street and then Highway 108. As I've been preparing for tomorrow, I think the biggest conversation is going to be about 108. Right now, we have the funding to complete this project. We have a contractor ready to go. The worry if we wait too much longer, those costs are going to continue to go up, and we are obviously paying things right now. I feel we have that figured out, but I also understand that the board could direct us to not go forward with that project. Again, my thought, though, especially for tomorrow, aside from Camp Justice, is really going to be a deep dive into the 108 property. Right now, again, we have the funding. This is coming in slightly under budget. We're ready to go if the board so chooses.
Yeah, I'm fine with us punting it till tomorrow. I mean, it's 24 hours contractor say he's fine with it, we have a full conversation, clear picture.
So table it till tomorrow. We have the special board meeting scheduled until noon. Do you expect it to be contained within that period?
Why don't we just schedule a special meeting for 12 o'clock? You'll have all the information, probably be able to make a decision pretty
Well,
quick.
not special meeting, but continue this item
Oh,
of
we
this
can
meeting.
continue it, yeah.
Until one,
The whole
that's what I was
meeting.
gonna suggest.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay,
But just to be clear, from a process perspective, the entire meeting will be continued.
Right.
The only item will be this matter, though. Okay.
okay. Is that suitable for everybody?
Yeah.
All right, Supervisor Kirk? So this will be continued, this discussion on item 3 will be continued until 1 o'clock tomorrow.
So we're starting it at 1, or
Yeah,
we're gonna,
no,
It would just be right after our other meeting, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
so
time.
it'll, once, we'll say 1 o'clock.
okay.
Once the special meeting for homelessness is done, then we'll go into this one item from today's meeting.
I just
It's
don't
something
want to
we-
be done with our meeting tomorrow at 11:30 and then be waiting
Yeah.
till 1 to have this conversation. So if we can just go right into it.
Yep, supervisors, I think the best thing, again, from Brown Act Compliance, is continue this meeting to 9 AM tomorrow.
Okay.
So at the end of this meeting, we'll just make a little statement that we're continuing it, and the one item is to continue to 9 AM tomorrow morning. You can open both meetings at 9 AM and then have full discussions on everything tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Good?
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Do we need a motion to continue it, or do we just table this and move on?
Let's do it at the end so that we can make sure that it's truly the only thing getting continued to.
Okay. All right, so I will.
You're catching on.
Yeah. So so we don't need a motion. Okay, so I'll take that initiative and table this until the end of the meeting, and then hand it back over to Supervisor Brandon. We're on item 4. now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And did we do public comment on item 3?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So with that, we'll move on to item 4, if the clerk can read the item.
I don't think she heard you.
Nicole? Oh, if you can read item 4.
Item number 4, approving amendment number 1 to the standard agreement for professional services with SOMES for on-call construction management and construction inspection services, contract number 1758, and authorizing the chair to sign the amendment.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have specific
Yes.
questions?
I was waiting for Darren, but, okay. So I pulled this one, so I was trying to pull up my computer, but it's not working. So if I'm understanding this right, this is for the bridge that we approved last meeting,
Correct.
which is like, call it 4.7 million, and we're spending close to $1 million to supervise the contractors on this on top of this? Or is that included in the 4.7 million?
That is not included. What we have is an on-call contract with this contractor. The current not to exceed is $950,000. The cost to oversee construction management and inspection of the bridge is $712,000, which is approximately 15% of the construction cost, which is industry standard for these bridges. So because we've already spent, $227,000 with this contractor for a different project, we need to increase the total not to exceed for their on-call.
So the contract's not specific, they have multiple projects
Correct.
under their contract?
Correct. They have a 5-year on-call.
Okay. And we can't inspect these ourselves and save $1 million on inspection fees and
This
help
requires,
fund more roads?
this requires specialized structures inspection, which we don't have the skill set to do. This also includes testing, stormwater testing, and material testing.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I believe it's reimbursable fully?
Correct. It's 100% reimbursable from the Highway Bridge Program grant.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion, questions? Or with that, we'll open up public comment on the
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you. Any members of the public would like to speak? You have 3 minutes to be able to come up on this item. Going once, going twice. All right, closing public comment on item 4, bringing it back to the board. I'll be looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve it as presented.
All right.
Second.
So moved by Supervisor Holland, seconded by Supervisor Campbell. We have to do roll call votes, don't we? Sorry, I didn't do that at the beginning. Thank you, Sarah. You got to hit me with the beanbag. You got to hit me with the Brown Act beanbag. All right. We will call for a roll call vote. Supervisor Holland?
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk?
Aye.
Supervisor Griefer?
Aye.
And Supervisor Brandon? Aye. Very cool. All right, passes unanimously. Now let me see. We got 5, 6, 7.
On 5.
We're on 5.
5. Okay. All right. If the clerk can read item 5.
We're moving right along.
Item number 5, adopting resolution 39-25 to approve the 2025-2026 memorandum of understanding for the Tuolumne County Attorneys Association.
Okay, so I pulled this one, not to have any problems with it. I just think that whenever we do bargaining unit agreements, I think we should not do them on consent, that those should be done just as a standalone item. So we all vote on them, on the record, and we move forward. That is it.
Okay.
Good morning, Board. Karen McGadigan, Human Resources. I actually do have a couple of corrections on this memo, so I am glad that you pulled it to give me the opportunity to speak to it. This item was originally scheduled to be on the first agenda in May, and so you will notice the budgetary impact speaks to an amount of $10,800 that is projected. That was before we added another attorney position at that May first meeting. So the actual amount will be $12,000 to include 10 positions in the attorney unit. And also the term is now different. It will be starting May 21st and running through May 20th of 2026.
Karen, what attorney position did we add?
District attorney.
You added a deputy district attorney.
We did?
Yes? Did I make that up?
No, but that again is to be, that was the direction provided to be included in the 25-26 budget. Your board has not formally finalized that until you vote on the 25-26
So we may or may not have included it yet.
Direction was given by the board to do it, but it has not been created, right?
If you decide to approve that addition, it will be a $12,000 amount rather than the $10,800 that's reflected in the memo.
So noted.
Okay. Is that a substantive edit where we need to relist this on a future agenda, or are we okay to move forward today as
No,
recommended?
we should be fine to move forward today, as I understood it from County Council.
Okay, great. Do we have any other questions, comments by the board? All right, thank you. We'll open up public comment. This is for item 5. If any members of the public would like to speak. Going once, going twice. All right, we will close public comment on item 5. I'm bringing it back to the board, and we'll be looking for a motion to approve as recommended or edited, as amended and recommended.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a first.
I guess I'll second.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a first by Supervisor Campbell. We have a second by Supervisor Holland. All those in favor? Oh, we have to go and do a roll call vote. Supervisor Holland?
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk?
No.
Supervisor Griefer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the vote is 4-1-0, and it is approved. Thank you. All right. We are then on to, thank you for this handy list. We're on to item 9, if the clerk can read the item.
Item number 9, approving the appointment of Matthew Galvin as the Tuolumne County Citizen Representative to the Central Sierra Economic Development District with a term to expire on May 20, 2027.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Matt. So this is nothing against you in any way, shape, or form. This is a procedural matter. The reason I pulled this is because I believe we should have floated this opportunity to the rest of the county. I have a couple people in District 4 that reached out to me that would like to talk about it or be a part of this consideration. So my position is that I think we should table it for right now, open it up to the county-wide, and then let those candidates who wish to show interest come before the board and take part in that discussion.
Okay. Only any background on this. So the Central Sierra Economic Development District is a JPA. So it does, and at least this is how we've done it in the past. Candidate's been basically selected or chosen there. It has confirmation of the board, but I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we've flown it as a committee position because it's not a committee, though I believe we have the capability to do that. So, council, do we have input onto that too? Because it's not the same as one under our umbrella directly. It's a little bit different.
I'd have to look at the JPA agreement, which I don't have in front of me, but I can get.
No.
Did you look at it? Okay.
Other council?
Hello. Thank you. I've reviewed the JPA agreement. It doesn't specify how the members appoint, but the board has the ability to appoint a citizen member and a board member. I haven't reviewed any of our, I don't know if we have any specific local policies on how we appoint, but the JPA is silent on the process.
Okay. All right. And so I believe we have a recommendation to basically cast the net out using our online form system, looking for other committee or applications to the economic district. Have that correct? Resubmit this back out to receive applications and put this on the future
and
agenda.
again, it might be Mr. Galvin's the only guy who applies, because I know how much he likes more work on his plate. But if there's somebody, like I said, in my district or other districts that would like to.
Understood. Yeah. Just clarifying, want to see, is this, or any other comments on this? I'm fine to move forward as it is. I think this is the generally normal process, and I think Matt's an excellent candidate for it.
Well, I had one question, I guess, comment. What is typical for the other members of the JPA? Because my understanding was that that the other JPAs have used whoever is their economic development director or equivalent to that on staff as this position. Now, our economic development director was recently laid off, so we no longer have one. So would we be looking to appoint from the admin staff or somewhere else from the county? I just, I'm looking at what the other members of the JPA are doing. We're not able to apples to apples replicate that. So what do we do? Because if we put it out to community, you're getting someone from the community, and that's great. But you have direct representatives of each county on the JPA in those seats, but you won't have one from Tuolumne County. So that's the only concern that I have.
Yeah, and I'm only speaking just as being at the boards there. You're absolutely correct. The public, it is a board and a public member. Most of the public members, because it is up to the consent of the county and the boards, are economic development directors for Calaveras, Alpine, and a few of them, they're going to get me in trouble on that, maybe saying, but they tend to be county staff. As you mentioned, we don't have that position. The previous economic development director was the representative there, followed this process, was appointed. So it's with the consent of the board, but I think everybody there, I'm not aware of anybody that is general staff from counties. I believe they are all staff that specifically do economic development. So you're right, it'd either be picking a staff member who's not directly involved in economic development if we wanted that kind of route, or it would be picking a member of the public that would be involved in economic development but not our staff. If that answers it. Confirming. Okay. So with that, if we want, just throwing out, we can do a motion to table this and resubmit an application and have this item come back, another time, or we can do a motion to approve in that order, the recommendation for the tabling, so we can go to that. But we'll go to public comment. Thank you, Sarah. Open up public comment on this item. If any members of the public would like to speak, please step up.
I'm actually directly addressing Supervisor Campbell's perspective on this too. So regarding this proposed allocation of economic development funds, these are lightly linked potentially. I'm advocating that we minimize the administrative cost and complexity component, the monies that we spend on that, with that proposed $500,000 on administration, and that we focus that on Tuolumne County specifically, and to further consider applying the funds to infrastructure changes that will attract private business investment.
And Tom, just for the germanity of it, is this related to item 9 with the
Yes.
appointment?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting to that real quick. I'm sorry. There are advantages and disadvantages in asking the Central Sierra Economic Development District as a regional JPA to have a role that influences Tuolumne County specific plans. And I'm just cautioning that our representation, whoever that might be aware of the potential conflicts of project priorities and broader funding issues. It is complicated in that meeting because, I mean, we're discussing the potential of asking the JPA to also serve somewhat as a part of our economic development planning and direction. So I just wanted to put that on the plate as well as we consider who we might want to have represent us there. It is public representation. That in the JPA, it's written as public representation. It's not additional staff representation. It just turns out that that's generally what happens because there's very few of us that go. I will say that I was invited to be a public representative, not of Tuolumne County, oddly, and I go to all the meetings and I participate. So there is public representation, but this is kind of unique. I like the fact that we might actually have multiple people from Tuolumne County getting our unfair share of the district's attention. So anyway, just wanted to add those perspectives.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other comments? Going once, going twice. All right, seeing none, bring it back to the board. Perhaps we can recognize a recommended motion to table it, what might be appropriate, 30 days? Sure. To be able to receive applications. I should know this too when we have the next meeting of it, maybe monthly actually. Would it be appropriate to have that application out for, let's say, a week? And that way we're able to address this before the next CSEDD meeting? There was some confusion we had, so we've missed 2 because there was confusion on the bylaws of what the process was. We had to kind of go figure out our process and the CSEDD process. So Supervisor Griefer?
So I'm just looking at the calendar here. So looks like 30-day issue would be June 17th would be the next board meeting. Well, the next board meeting. So I would feel comfortable having it on that agenda as a discussion. So if you want to open it up starting tomorrow until however long staff takes, so it would have to be the Wednesday before that. So by June 11th, we open it up to applications between now and June 11th, and then on June 17th, it comes back before the board for selection of that person to represent us.
Okay, so you're looking at 4 weeks.
Well, yes, I mean, calendar-wise, but I'm also taking into consideration our direction that staff needs to have has to have the agenda out by the Wednesday before the meeting. So with that being said, that would be June 11th. So how many days between now and June 11th?
Staff, do we have a recommendation on how long it may take? Because I don't believe we have an application made for this. Correct, on our online digital application for BCCs?
I think Heather used the same application we used for all of them, and one was filled out by Matt.
Okay, so we just have to add a section on there to apply for it.
Well, I thought I have Mr. Galvin's here.
I believe we had that sent from CSEDD, if I'm correct.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
So
or he filled out another, so.
We could use this boilerplate if necessary, just to get it out, so we
Okay.
can meet those timeframes for that organization's.
Would you like to make a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table this item until the June 17th meeting, with applications being received no later than the June 11th meeting for selection at the June 17th meeting.
Okay. And does that all work logistically? Roger? Or Nicole, for scheduling purposes? It's fine? Okay. So we have a motion, just to reiterate, would be by the June 17th meeting with applications received by June 10th, correct?
I think he said 11th, but whatever. I think he said 11th.
You know, I did misspeak. Thank you. So it would have to be in by the 10th at the latest, so that staff could have it out to the board by the 11th. Obviously, sometimes we don't hit that, so applications in by the 10th, to discuss on the 17th.
All right, so it'll be open till the 10th. Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a first by Supervisor Griefer, a second by Supervisor Holland. The motion is to table it and receive applications up until June 10th, and then to place an item with all applicants on the meeting for June 17th. Yes. Correct?
Could I make
Yes.
a suggestion on that too, that we also allow some space for staff to assess whether having a staff member fill that role is appropriate, because I don't want to put it out there, promise to the community that we'll select a community member when it sounds like we haven't really looked into whether someone on the staff would be appropriate for that position yet.
I would be okay if we wanted to, to give direction, since this affects the application. If we have an opinion on that today, personally, I tend to agree that it should be a public position and not a staff position. I don't know who would fill it. But we could potentially give direction before the tabling motion, just on whether we want to open it up to staff or not.
Brian, what if we feel there is a staff member, just haven't filled out the application, and we just put it in the stack and?
I guess that would work. I don't see that. This is the thing. I don't know.
Weird, yeah.
It sounds like there's a mode of operations that the other members of the JPA are using that we're not using, and so I'm just wondering what that would be, and if I just want to understand that more. Is kind of all I'm looking at.
Okay, so if that's fine, then we will ask that staff during the time can apply if there's interest in your office to be considered. Is that fine?
Well, we do have a unique opportunity since we are continuing this meeting until tomorrow. We could have staff review this within the next 24 hours and address this on tomorrow's meeting as well. That way we don't
I
lose.
don't think it's germane to tomorrow's meeting's umbrella, though, right?
Oh, you weren't here. So we tabled an item
Right.
till tomorrow.
Right.
Off of this agenda. So we're actually going to have 2 meetings tomorrow.
I thought that was because tomorrow was related to homelessness, and that was one of the projects.
But it was an item. It's still, regardless of what it was attached to, it's an item.
Oh, right, it's a separate meeting at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree that would work, but I'm going to speak on Roger's behalf and say that he'd probably want a little more time to look into it.
He likes pressure. You know this.
I love pressure, but in 24 hours, I'll tell you the same answer I'll tell you right now, and that's that we don't have the capacity.
Okay.
I think we have a working solution, which is use the application. It's
With
not,
the motion, though, can you change the date from the 10th to the 6th of June for the application deadline? Staff has to redact all the applications before they're submitted.
Absolutely.
Give us a few more days.
Okay.
So I'm into the 6th.
We'll create that there. And Supervisor Kirk.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment before we decided, to Supervisor Campbell's point, if everybody else is using an economic development employee, I don't know any employee who's going to want to do more work and apply for this. So I think between now and then, I hear what Roger's saying, but I think just like everything else we've been doing, we need to see if somebody staff level wise can meet that capacity. If not, then we'll go to the next step, which is a citizen. But I just think expecting staff to want to do more work or apply for this isn't going to happen. But I would like Roger or Jaron, whoever's on this committee, to look at the scope of work and see if it meets any current staff members' current form of employment. If it's only a few hours a week, then I think we need to move somebody into that. Otherwise, we'll appoint somebody at that future meeting. That's just my 2 cents.
Great, thank you. I agree with you. I'll say that I think we do have some staff that are relevant in some of the work they do to economic development planning. I also kind of agree that they're probably not going to apply. So I'd make the recommendation that we just kind of give direction of where we're at today, of whether we want to volunteer and tell a staff member that we want them to attend and be a part of this in the concept, or we want this to be kind of an open app. I forget who mentioned it. I think maybe you did, but if we put this out to the public and receive 4 or 5 applications and then choose a staff person, that's not gonna look great or feel great for the people that applied. So personally, I think it should not be a staff member, even though that's more traditional. I think you said we should consider a staff member over the public. You want to weigh in, and I do have your motion in mind to kind of revisit that. Is there a strong preference either way? And Supervisor Kirk included in this as well.
Well, again, I think this kind of boils back down to the point of, I mean, again, nothing against the applicant, but, you know, it's on consent, so if we hadn't had this discussion, you know, we would have missed out on, you know, Supervisor Campbell's point of maybe having a staff member. So I think we have to decide, are we going to try to find a staff member first and then put it out? So if that's the case, then we got to delay it a little longer. We don't want to impact that organization or lack of our representation. So, I mean, I can go either way. If we want to say, hey, we're going to give direction to the CAO's office to search and find a person who's wanting to do this, and if they come up goose eggs, then
so no strong preference.
Well, I mean, I am. My preference is what my motion was, you know. But if you want to have a staff member, I can go that way too.
But we have
the
one
royal-
that
the royal
does. I do not.
Right.
I'm trying to see if there's a clear majority that would like to make it staff, or not.
So I see both arguments, but I actually think maybe somebody from the outside might be good. There'd be a fresh set of eyes, that people that do development, that are in the business world, because to the point that got talked about earlier, half the equation is we have to increase revenues to go along with our reductions if we're ever going to get out of this hole. But I understand where Ryan's coming from as well about staff and the interest, but I don't know. I mean, we clearly don't have that position anymore, so maybe somebody from the outside world would be good. I mean,
Supervisor Kirk,
either way I could go on it.
staff or public?
I would start with staff and then go with public. So I would just open it up and then we'll make a decision. I'm okay if, I mean, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but we got to get this going and we got to get that position
Right.
filled. So staff first.
You're the tiebreaker. We got a 2-1-2.
Well, not really. Because
Pick a
we have
winner.
motion, you know. Well, I mean,
Do we open it up to? Do we have a staff person do it, or do we do
well,
your original
I'm a
to
big
everybody?
believer of opening up to everybody. So
Okay.
if it's staff or otherwise, you know, but I don't want to commit. Again, we're putting the cart before the horse. I don't want to commit to things where we're going to put an impact out there. So we need to make a decision. If we're going to look for a staff, then I'll revise my motion that we table this until the 17th.
Understood. We have two that would like to have it be staff. We have two that would like it to be a member of the public and not staff. And so, because if it's staff, they're not probably going to volunteer to apply. It will be us telling them.
I don't care either way. I just think
Well, you sit on that committee. What do you want?
I think it should be public. I think we should open, I think the application opening is fine.
Okay.
I would prefer it not be staff, especially since we don't have a clear position for it.
Well, that kind of reinforces my position of that, you know, if you want, it's your committee. If you sit on the committee, if you want to have a public, then I support that.
Great.
Then we need to go with my original motion and move on.
Yep. Okay, is there any concern with that? Okay, so to reiterate, we do have a first and a second. The motion is to, as amended, have this return to the June 17th meeting for the applications to be submitted by June 6th, correct? For review and redaction and all of that. And it would be an open application for the public to apply to, correct?
Anybody, right?
Oh, anybody, but
Right.
yeah. Capital P, public, everybody.
Well, I mean, if we had a staff member that says, oh, I want that.
Technically, yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right, so with that, we'll go through the vote. Sorry, ends up being complicated with these. Supervisor Holland.
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell.
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk.
Aye.
Supervisor Griefer.
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. So unanimously, we will table that to the 17th, and anybody interested in applying, please look. We have a digital application form for all of our committees and commissions online. Just Google Tuolumne County Committee Commissions application. It'll be like the first thing that comes up, and it's a lot easier than the paper system before. Okay, so with that, look at the cheat sheet again. What are we on?
Number 11.
All right, we'll bring forward item 11. The clerk can read the item.
Item number 11, as the Air Pollution Control Board, approving the appointments of Margaret Willits, Aaron Bass, Walter Cruz, Patrick Schweitzer, and Kevin Lindsley to the Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District Hearing Board with staggered term ending dates as listed in the staff memo.
All right, and hey, welcome. Very good to see you.
Yep. Good morning, members of the board. Did we have a question regarding the item?
And would you like to introduce yourself real
Yeah.
quick for the public? And
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm Kent Rasmussen with Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District.
Was this all me again? All right. I know. So no, the only reason I pulled this item is nothing against any of the applicants. Again, I would like to substitute Catherine Sari for the position, or for instead of Aaron Bass. And nothing against Aaron. I just had to pick somebody, and so I went through the qualifications that I had in front of me. Ms. Sari has been very passionately involved in working with the Air Control Board. She has a very specific interest in cloud seeding and things like that. We had a long discussion about her vision and how she wanted to interact with the board. She is here today to answer any questions. So if I'm not really sure how we want to do this. Do we want to go one by one, or do we want to lump them together and take them as a whole? So that's why I pulled it.
All right. We do have all the candidates kind of in what's presented right here. I believe an application was submitted. My recommendation would be we first vote on basically doing that substitution and see where that ends up. And if that fails or passes, then we will vote on the original with all five combined. Is that fine with you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is that the way to do it?
I think that makes the most sense. First, we'll just vote on the if you want to make a motion to basically amend, and that's up. Make your recommendation a motion, and we'll do a vote on it.
I guess that's my question. So the motion I'll make is approving the appointments of Margaret Willits, Catherine Sari, Walter Cruz, Patrick Schweitzer, and Kevin Lindsay to the Tuolumne County Air Board.
Sorry, to clarify, I mean specifically you mentioned replacing Aaron Bass with Catherine Sari as kind of the specific motion.
Correct.
Rather than all of them together, just to see first whether we change it or not.
So my motion is approving the appointments of Margaret Willis, Catherine Sari, Walter Cruz, Patrick Schweitzer, and Kevin Lindsay to the Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District Hearing Board.
Okay, so we have a first, and that includes the substitution. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, bring it back for any discussion. Oh, we still have to do public comment on this too. We'll have to hold on that. Public comment, we'll open it up to any members of the public. Put a tab in that, but we'll remember it. If any members of the public would like to speak, please feel free to come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. It is up to you.
Hi, I'm Catherine Sari, and thank you, Supervisor Griefer, for bringing this up. Yes, I've been very involved for many years. I applied right away in January the 14th. It's been about 5 months, and I know I'd be a very strong advocate for the air quality in Tuolumne County. I've done numerous Public Records Act requests. I've had ongoing correspondence with the California Air and Resources Board, as well as our Air Pollution Control District, Kelly Schroeder, who is no longer here. But I really look forward to this opportunity to serve our county. I'm indeed very, very passionate and look forward to your vote. Thank you.
Do we have any other members of the public?
Hello again, and I would just like to briefly say that I support Supervisor Griefer's changes here. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other comments?
Good morning, I'm Tracy Reynolds, and I applied for the board as well, but I 100% support Catherine Sari being on the board. I was notified at 8:16 this morning that this was going to be on the agenda. I don't know if this is something you're going to vote on today, what the proper protocol is for when you decide these boards, but I would think I would have heard something. I think I applied February 3rd, so I don't know if you're supposed to hear, hey, we got your application, thank you. You know, had I not corresponded yesterday, I would not have got the phone call this morning that this was going to be voted on. You know, I'm a mom, I'm a mother, you know, and I have grandchildren. I want to leave a better place for my family someday, and the things I could see going on, we're not heading in that direction as far as pollution goes. And, you know, like Mr. Griefer referred to the cloud seeding, you know, that Catherine has spent countless hours on studying, you know, the ill effects of that. And whatever comes with the pollution board, I have the time and the energy to put into it as well. So I just wanted to make my presence known that I'm here to say that I applied as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we will bring it back to the board. Did you?
I have a question. Is it within our means to have alternates for this?
It would be whether I believe no, because we don't have alternates set, do we? Yes.
Answer that question. Supervisor Griefer, the Health and Safety Code specifies the members of this hearing board. It does allow the board to appoint alternates if you'd like. That's not part of the recommendation, but it's certainly within your board's discretion to appoint alternates.
And would an alternate, like any other alternate, be allowed to go to the same meetings but just not be involved, or would they only go in the event that? Because I guess if you have an alternate and somebody doesn't show up because they need to have quorum, then that alternate does go, then now they've made quorum, correct?
That would be the purpose of having an alternate, correct?
Okay, and because we want, I guess, to make sure that we get the best people involved, I would be willing to amend my motion to ask Tracy, Ms. Reynolds, to be an alternate.
And you would need to specify which seat the alternate would be for. So because they have different terms, and so it would be a designated alternate for that specific member of the hearing board.
Well, since I'm in for a penny and a pound here, I'll just say alternate for Ms. Sari.
Since there's an amendment, is that friendly? I'm fine with it. Okay. So we have the amendment to replace Aaron Bass with Catherine Sari and to have Tracy Reynolds be an alternate for Catherine Sari's position. We'll bring it again back to the board for discussion. I'll just say I'm an absolute no. With all respect, Catherine is not the right person to have on this. I have great concerns about the content that I've seen online about secret conspiracies of weather modifications and sieging public meetings and being taken out by law enforcement and harassing businesses. There's a lot of very concerning stuff. And so it's not a habit to come up, but I'm an absolute no on this. I think it is absolutely what we want to avoid, which is having a position there that would be a platform to make attacks or go and use it to fight projects that are happening or kind of promote that. So that's my 2 cents.
And to be fair, since this is my nominee, we have spoken about this. And as a fellow running mate or candidate against me, we specifically discussed this. So if I wasn't 100% concerned or ensured that this would not be a concern, I would not open us up into that liability. We all have a past. We all do things that maybe sometimes we regret, and she's willing to work with the board, and she understands that if it's not a good fit, then she'll step down. So I appreciate your concern, but I would not willingly or knowingly put someone in a position that would compromise this organization.
Understood, but I would dispute that it's in the past. These videos, posts, everything is being actively made now and continuing. It's never stopped. And so yeah. Supervisor Kirk?
My question's for council. If there was an issue, could we pull the seat and have the alternate step in, or is it locked in until 2027?
Just looking at Mr. Nestor, we're not sure. We'd have to look at the code a little bit more closely about the board removing someone from the seat. This seat expires 1 year from today. So I don't know if that resolves any concerns.
Absolutely. And appreciate that.
I hear what Supervisor Brandon's, I hear what he's saying, but I also know when people are passionate about things, it comes with it. So I want to give her the opportunity, but I just want our board to reserve the opportunity to course correct if need be. So those are my comments.
Okay. Do we have any other board comment? Supervisor Holland, Supervisor Campbell?
Yeah, I agree with Supervisor Brandon's perspective. I've seen some things online that concern me about using the position in a way that is inconsistent with what the Air Pollution Control Board exists for, and some of the disruptive activity that I've seen fairly recently online. So if the motion is on the table, I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Okay.
My substitute motion would be that we approve the appointments as listed in the agenda.
I'd second that motion. So we have that as to having basically, sorry, substitute motion thing's always so weird too. So the substitute motion, which we'll vote on first, a recommendation by Supervisor Campbell, a second by myself, would be to approve the staff recommended 5 that are for the Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District. That, do we have, is there a third? It's always a third. All right, so we'll call the vote on that.
Public comment on that?
No, we've already done public comment on the item, so. All right, no. Supervisor Holland? Voting, we have to do roll call, so.
Oh, did we get a second?
Yeah, I seconded,
sorry, I didn't
Supervisor, yeah. So, roll call vote, Supervisor Holland?
This is on the substitution motion?
This is on the substitute motion for the staff recommendation with
right.
the candidates listed as written, yes.
I'm a nay.
All right, Supervisor Campbell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kirk?
I'm a nay. I want to give her a chance to stay in her lanes.
All right, Supervisor Griefer?
No.
All right, and I'm an aye, so that fails with 2 support, Supervisor Campbell and myself, 3 opposed, Supervisor Griefer, Holland, and Kirk. So with that, we will go back to the original motion. I'll only maybe bring out one idea. What if they were both alternates and we kept the 5 here? Would that be acceptable?
Let's vote what's on the table.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, okay.
as it-
So then we'll go back to the original motion, which is to substitute, just to clarify.
Want me to read it?
Yes, and to clarify too, is there a reason why Aaron, I mean, so there's 5 here.
Well, I'm not gonna, that's in the discussion past, so I'm not gonna go down that road again. So my motion as is to approving the appointments of Margaret Willis, Catherine Sari, Walter Kraus, Patrick Schweitzer, and Kevin Lindsay to the board with Ms. Reynolds, she's still here, okay, as the alternate to Ms. Sari, whose term will end in 1 year. Well,
Okay.
would expire in 1 year for,
To that position.
yes.
Okay, so with that, we will, I believe we have a first on that already by Supervisor Griefer, a second by Supervisor Holland. We will do a roll call vote. Supervisor Holland?
Yay.
Supervisor Campbell?
No.
Supervisor Kirk?
Aye.
Supervisor Griefer?
Aye.
And I vote no. So the motion passes with 3 ayes, Supervisor Griefer, Holland, and Kirk, and 2 noes, Supervisor Campbell, myself, no abstentions. Did Anaya second? I thought you seconded. That's why I was looking to you. Anaya, did you second the motion just for the minutes record? I thought Supervisor Holland had seconded that before.
At the beginning, but then we had to go to public comment and other things. So I thought this was a new motion, which Holland seconded. So however you want to call
We
it.
did amend it with
Yeah, so
the
you amended-
alternate.
yeah.
So can we just blame it?
Back in?
Okay, there we go. All right, so that's item 11, all finished up. We finished all the items on the consent calendar. So with that, moving on, I believe we are going to be moving into our 9:30 appointment, correct?
Yeah, we're doing good.
All right. So with
Last
that,
9:30 the last 9:30 was at 3, so.
if we can, well, we wouldn't be so late if we didn't pull half the consent agenda.
That's the
But
fun of government.
so if the clerk can read the 9:30 item, and do we need any time to set up?
Take a break.
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute bio break. We'll be back here, say around 11:01. All right, we're beginning again with our 9:30 a.m. appointment. Will the clerk read the item again, just so we took a little break?
9:30 a.m. Presentation and community update on plans for celebrating the county's 175th anniversary.
Great. All right, take it away, Jen.
It's already on. All right. Hello once again. Chair Brandon and supervisors, I am Jen Lopez, Marketing Manager at Visit Tuolumne County. And thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Tuolumne County 175th Anniversary Committee. There are several committee members in the room today. Here to my right is Matt Galvin, President of the Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce. We also have Shirley Horn, Secretary and Treasurer of Yosemite Highway 120 Chamber of Commerce, and Patricia Epp, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Yosemite Highway 120 Chamber of Commerce, John Zock of the Tuolumne County Historical Railroad Association. plus myself, and also from our office, Josie Hodge-Guggen, who had to return to the office. So today we're just going to provide a brief overview of what has been accomplished so far and our upcoming plans. So as you know, 2025 marks a significant milestone, 175 years since Tuolumne County was officially established in 1850. I'm sorry, I need to go. Supervisor Griefer is also on our committee, who was the first person on my list. So I apologize. Established in 1850 as one of California's original states. In recognition of this historic year, the 175th Anniversary Committee, comprised of community members, organizations, and local partners, has been working to coordinate commemorative efforts that honor our past and present and engage community and visitors. So I'll just start with the role of Visit Tuolumne County. We have coordinated the design of the official logo, which was thoughtfully designed to honor the county's beauty and natural landscape and its diverse cultural history, highlighted by the feather, 4 acorns, and the gold nugget. The creation of the logo involved collaboration between the committee members and representatives of the Tuolumne Band of Miwok Indians and the Chicken Ranch Rancheria Miwok Indians, ensuring it reflects the county's thousands of years of cultural history. VTC also distributed event information for media coverage and is incorporating the logo into advertising for broader awareness. We are also hosting a dedicated anniversary webpage that highlights events and historical milestones and provides information about purchasing the exclusive ornaments that are created, which you will hear about in just a moment. And I will just speak to what the Sonora Chamber of Commerce is doing. There are annual events that are themed around the 175th anniversary, such as Sonora Chamber's El Campo de Sonora, which is a celebration of many cultures that have called and call Tuolumne County home. Among many cultural performances and activities, the Tuolumne County Historical Society will also have a special booth highlighting the county's vastly diverse history. Meanwhile, the Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce is working on several town center rejuvenation projects and building the 175th into its placemaking initiatives. It is also working on securing funding for a series of murals to be created by local artists and located throughout the county, and these murals will highlight Tuolumne County's natural and cultural history. And there is potential funding for these murals that includes grants from the community development, includes grants like the Community Development Block Grant and private sponsorships. Now I will let Patricia Epp speak to what the Yosemite Highway 120 Chamber of Commerce is doing.
Great.
We are a small but mighty community because we became very active in celebrating this 175th county-wide anniversary. And it was a pleasure to work with Steve, who sat ever so quietly, unlike today, on our committee meetings, but he guided us well. And thank you, Steve, for all your participation and for being there. We have 4 wonderful things that we have been able to incorporate in celebrating, and they're all very tactile and very visual. The first one will happen in September, not the first one, but the biggest one will happen in September, as we have branded our traditional 49er Festival as 49er Festival celebrating Tuolumne County's 175th. We started last year with a brand new concept called Taste of Tuolumne, where we were able to secure restaurants from different areas other than just Groveland to come and offer tastes of their food for $1 to the 3,000 people that attend the 49er Festival. And we're broadening that this year because of the 175th to make a Taste of Tuolumne, so trying to get some Native American representation, some Chinese representation, Italian representation, to really make it that melting pot that Tuolumne County really is. So the logo, as you can see see, I don't know if you, how you see what was on the screen, but our Tuolumne County logo, or the Tuolumne County 175th logo, reflects with our 49er Festival. The other thing that we did is we have a very, very talented duo in our community, the Wilkinsons. I don't know if you know, any of you know David and Christina Wilkinson, but they do a fabulous job in any kind of art medium that exists today. And we ended up taking the 175th logo and turning it into a 5D wood ornament that, as you look at it, it is all that paint, all the layers are done on a press, and then David Wilkinson is the gentleman, the artist that is doing it. He's actually, where you see the color is hand painting. And then we gave any of the towns, cities, or organizations interested in Tuolumne County the opportunity to personalize the ornament as to represent their town. So Railtown personalized it with the locomotive. Groveland, obviously, we personalized it with the jail, and we're still upset, Steve, that we asked if we could put your face behind the jail bars, and you said no, but we had to work with it, and so there it went. But we gave it a shot, and then of course,
That's because I've told you for years I have a face for radio, so
I know.
you don't want this on there.
And then of course we have the actual Tuolumne County 175th logo. Those are available for sale. They're $20 each, and they are for each community that has them a fundraiser. So for Groveland, the fundraiser goes to the Great to Gate Foundation, which if you've been to Groveland lately, or if you've been to Groveland last summer, you'll see all of the plants that are in the gold vein planters on Main Street, or all the plants that are hung on Main Street. That goes toward helping fund and sustain that program. So just so all of you supervisors know, there is currently a set of 3. They're $20 each. We do take a check. We do also take Venmo, and we have enough ornaments that we could sell you your very own today. Okay? It's a little shark tank going on here. Okay? The other element that we have that's very exciting that will culminate at the 49er Festival is we have a quilt guild in Groveland, and Shirley Horn pitched to them probably a month ago about doing a quilt that would commemorate the 175th. We have the luxury of having a woman, I can't remember her name right now, who over the years has done some extraordinary chalk and pencil art of some of our more historic buildings. And that quilt will be featuring, 14 or 16? 14 different historical sketches that have been done over the years of the Groveland Hotel, the Iron Door Saloon, all of the main points that are in Groveland. And those will be the center of the quilt. And then in the center of all of those will be the 175th Tuolumne County logo, and it will be backed by a run fabric that will have the Tuolumne County logo. So we're hoping, we're going to promote the heck out of it, and we are very much hoping that the person that ends up at the live auction at the 49er Festival purchasing that quilt will donate it back to the community and allow it to be hung in either the community hall, which would be our desire, or if not the community hall, the Resilience Center. So it becomes a showcase and a showpiece for down the future. So that's a very special project. The last project that we have to celebrate the 175th involves the art class and the shop class at Tioga High School. The art class is creating a couple things. They're creating the 175th logo, probably about that size. The shop class is going to be burning them in wood. And then the art class has also been tasked with the responsibility to come up with scenes that maybe occurred 175-ish years ago, gold panning. Perhaps Indians cooking by a teepee, something that is historic. And then the shop class is also going to burn those in medallions that are probably this big. soon as those are completed, which should be within the next month, we are going to be staging those. If you look at the gold vein, custom gold vein planter that we have that are, there's 12 of them on Main Street. They will be perched there. We will have QR codes that will say the name of the student artist, talk about the shop class, so it becomes community support, community participation, community awareness, both of for our residents as well as our children, and certainly our tourists as they come through during the summer on Highway 120 as they stop and spend time in Groveland on their way to Yosemite. So we have found this 175th anniversary as a perfect item, a perfect tool for us to get involved, to get community members involved, to gain awareness, and to get community support, and to give of their time and their talent and their efforts. And thank you. We appreciate it. Unless you want to buy any.
All right, thank you very much. Is there anything to add?
All right, with that, we'll bring it back to the board for any comments. Supervisor Griefer?
No, I just want to say, first, a big shout out to Heather Ryan, who's kind of herding all the cats, making sure that we all have our meetings together, and that she's really been kind of behind the scenes. This is a volunteer mission that has been undertaken by these different organizations. My role has been really more of a facilitator, make sure that we kind of keep things going. I'm a big believer in community spirit and making sure that people feel proud about our community. When people feel proud, we see automatic things like crime reduction, vandalism reduction, things like that, because they have a buy-in, and we want to support all that. Additionally, the 120 corridor is such a strong tourism corridor that we want to make sure that the people coming through have great stories and things they can purchase and take back. And by no means does this take away anything from the other parts of the county. We encourage the other parts of the county to step up and join us and do what you can to support this great anniversary of ours. And again, a big thank you to all of the hardworking men and women who have put this together, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Supervisor Holland?
Yes, lots of excellent stuff. I have a question. Can you find out, can they make one about 18 inches or 24 inches in that wood one, and what it would cost? Because maybe, we can swap out the moose one for it. No, maybe.
Was the moose a negotiating tactic?
We'll get back to that, but.
Hey, let us stick at the moose.
Yeah, I could. Okay, just let Steve know and get back to me. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know.
Supervisor Campbell?
It looks great. I mean, I love the design, and that's a hard thing to do when you come up with a design by committee. It looks like it had somebody's vision there, and I appreciate that. So.
Supervisor Kirk?
My comments are just thank you guys. It's all volunteer work, and it's what makes Tuolumne County a great place. So thank you for all your work on it.
Great. I thought all the Chamber of Commerce leaders got paid really, really well. No? Yeah, really high salaries, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I echo my colleagues' comments. I think the logo or design, the seal, looks great. One goal of when taking the board was getting that ugly rug that used to be up here gone. I've always thought that we could use an update, and so maybe there will be talk in the future about whether this could be a longer lasting one than just the 175th. I think the design's fantastic, and I really like that this is highlighting our history, but is doing it in a fun way, and it's talking about economic development, which I think is really key, especially in our Main Street areas. So thank you for that. I believe this is a presentation only. We do have to do public comment on it, I believe, so we'll open that up for any members of the public who like to speak. You'll have 3 minutes. Going once, going twice. All right, in closing, and I'll ask one last question. If anybody else watching is interested in participating in some way, who would they reach out to? And that would be info@yosemitechamber.org. And if they're in other areas, can they reach out to Visit Tuolumne if it's not in Groveland? Okay, and probably just call in. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate it. All right, so we will close. That's our 9:30 appointment. We've pulled our 10 a.m. appointment as mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. We're going to be going into, if the board's okay, I know that we have our annual update for behavioral health as 12. Since we have, I think, some members of the audience there looking for item 13, would that be fine to move that forward and discuss that first with no objection? All right, so we will go into item 13 under community development. The clerk can read the item, please.
Jaron, I'm gonna step out because I'm at a mobile home park.
Yeah, get out of here. Oh, wait, do we need to have any statement or anything, or no? Up
I
to you.
just made it. I own one.
All right.
Item number 13, consideration of establishing a $21 annual fee for fiscal year 2025-2026 to administer and defend Chapter 5.28 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, Control of Rents in Mobile Home Parks.
All right. Good morning.
Can you hear me now? Good morning. I am Rachel Bell, the Business and Housing Programs Manager with the Community Development Department. And we have Quincy Yaley, our Director here, and also Chris Smith from County Council. Before you today, we have a consideration of establishing a $21 annual fee for the fiscal year 25-26 to administer and defend Chapter 5.28 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code. The county's mobile home rent control ordinance contains a provision whereby the park owners and residents pay for the county's cost to administer and defend the ordinance. A registration fee shall be paid by the park owner to the county for each space in the park, except for those exempt under Section 5.28.030. The amount of said fee shall be determined by the Board of Supervisors and be sufficient to pay operating costs for this ordinance, including but not limited to administrative time and cost, legal fees and costs, and any other expenses incurred in administering or defending this ordinance. The park owner may pass 50% of this fee on to the residents. The fee under consideration is the annual fee for 25-26. This fee will be assessed to the mobile home park owners by the county in July of 2025. Our registration packets will go out once the fee is agreed upon, and we ask for those to be returned to us in July. The fee is calculated based on the cost of administering and defending the ordinance for the fiscal year, divided by the estimated number of mobile home spaces under the jurisdiction of the county mobile home rent control ordinance. Each year, the county requires mobile home park owners to report the number of spaces protected under the rent control ordinance. The number of spaces can change from year to year as park owners' occupancy occasionally adds or subtracts spaces. Further, Section 5.28.030 exempts certain spaces from the provision of the rent control ordinance, including but not limited to vacant spaces and spaces held out for rent after January 1st, 1990. For fiscal year 24-25, the county determined that 861 spaces are under the rent control ordinance, based on the information provided by the park owners, which was then verified by CDD staff. The cost to administer and defend the fiscal year 25-26 ordinance is $18,271. Due to increased costs, the program costs are slightly higher than last year. Costs were calculated based on actual time and expenses for the current fiscal year by staff from the County Council's office, which provides legal advice and helps resolve complaints and violations of the ordinance, and the Community Development Department, which administers the ordinance. It is recommended that your board establish an annual fee for 25-26 for administration and defense of the county mobile home rent control ordinance for $21 per mobile home space subject to the ordinance. And we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you for the presentation. We'll bring this back to the board for any questions or comments.
Well, I guess it's me again. All right, so this was established in 1995, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain or help me understand the defend part of this? And where I'm going with this is that if you read the chapter, if you read this item, my understanding is that should we be sued, which legal costs would go up, that this is going to be spread out through all of the property owners, right? So right now, I'm going to go off of the 861 is the last number I saw.
Correct.
So my question is, since 1995, has a pool of money been set aside? Quincy already knows where I'm going with this, so I'm not trying to blindside you. A pool of money been set aside to address potential legal?
No, there's no pool of money set aside.
Okay. So
And Chris, correct me if I'm incorrect on that.
I believe that's correct.
right, because I couldn't find it in the budget. So here's where I'm going with this: is that the nut of it is that this went in 1995. It's supposed to be defending. If my understanding is correct, through all of our conversations I had yesterday with the different staff members, is that should a legal action be taken against the county county has to incur, I'll just use easy math, $50,000 in legal fees. The fees either get absorbed by all of the individual property owners that are participating in, that are living in these mobile homes, or the county has to eat it.
Correct.
Okay, so my issue here is, one, and even here in the document, it says here, item H, a substantial portion of the residents of motorhome parks in this county are senior citizens of low income or moderate income. So we're already talking about raising fees on people who by definition are living here, are low income, or moderate income, low income, or senior citizens. But my real heartburn is that somebody in Jamestown, somebody in Twain Harte, somebody in Groveland could see their rate go up because there was no pool of money set aside since 30 some odd years ago to defend this ordinance. So how do we justify doing that?
Well, I can start, and Mr. Schmidt can help me. But there's no pool of money set aside because of the way that the county has always charged the fee, which is we're 1 year behind or 1 year out on the costs. And so, to my knowledge, there hasn't been a fair rate of return hearing or other significant legal legal staff needed to defend the ordinance. And so up until now, it's been pretty routine to bring this item to the board and have it be based on the time that was spent in the past year. Should your board wish to change the way that the fee is estimated and charged, you could certainly give staff direction to look into that, to modify how it's done. I understand exactly what you're saying regarding a space in one part of the county, then incurring costs to handle issues that may arise in another space. Up until there is a time where there is a significant expense and legal expenses, it's always kind of floated around through the year and through the county. Mr. Smith, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I don't believe so. And the board would be able, if it wanted to change the way the fee is calculated, it could be a prospective fee where we would predict the next year's expenses based on the past history. That's just not how it's been done so far. So if the board wanted to switch to that type of fee calculation, we would have to go through another fee study and just do a different analysis and bring this back.
Right, and for transparency, we spoke yesterday on the phone where I raised these very same questions, and after that conversation, I started doing a little digging. Now, granted, I'm not in your league there when it comes to the law. So my understanding is that the board could say, hypothetically, we raised it to $25 a year, and we were to take $5 of that everyone and put that in a bank, because that is part of the fees to defend this, right? My heartburn is that we don't have to do a fee study to say, hey, look, part of the legal cost, right, is to defend this. So if we had a pocket of money that we could say, should that rainy day come that we do get sued, that we could use that instead of passing that on to the innocent person who has no idea what's going on and why their rate just went up X number of dollars. So that's and granted, I know we're in kind of hypothetical land right here, and I think we need to work on that. So as I've spoken to council, I think either we junk this entire program or we look at it and we kind of come up, but that's a topic for a later date. So for me, I cannot move forward with this increase until we have better guidance and direction of how we want to put this onto the people that may have the most vulnerability when it comes to the putting food on their table or things like that.
Okay.
All right, I have some questions. So what's the maximum yearly amount increase that a mobile home park resident will see over the course of a year because of this increase?
Is it just for this year's fee?
Yeah, what we're talking about. The maximum yearly increase, well, because we're talking about increasing at $7.
Right, so it's a once a year fee.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be, what, $3.50 per resident?
Okay, so
For the year.
what we're
yeah.
talking about is a $3.50 increase over the course of a year for these residents. In exchange for that, they get, they have rent control, which keeps their rents low, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What is the maximum amount under the current state rules that a mobile home park could increase their rent yearly if we did not have rent control in place for this?
Chris just researched this, so I'll let Chris answer that
Okay.
question.
To the best of our research, we could not find any state control over mobile home parks. There is recent legislation that does cap rents, but we believe mobile home park rents are exempted from that.
So if the county did not have a rent control ordinance and I own a mobile home park, could I increase the rent on my residence by 100% in 1 year?
Yes.
Okay. So for that reason, it seems pretty important to have rent control, wouldn't you say? That's an opinion. Now let's go into what the fee is used for. And I take your point, Supervisor Griefer, about how it's structured and how that can be confusing. But because it's confusing doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. What we're talking about is paying for it. It almost, to me, sounds the way this is structured is better than how we do our general budgets. What we're doing is we're asking the residents to pay for costs that have already been incurred. So they're not paying 1 cent more than the actual cost that it costs to defend this ordinance that they benefit extraordinarily from. And to the tune of, we're talking about $21, so $10.50 spread out over the course of the year. They're getting this huge benefit. What we do in the county is we try to make predictions. We mix tea leaves, or I don't know, look at bones or birds circling in the sky to try and figure out what our budgets are. This is actually paying directly for the costs that have been incurred by this program. And then my last question is, why is this increasing now?
Due to increased time that it's taken, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just add also, so there, not only is it increased time, but if you recall when we did our fee update, the Community Development Department's staff hourly rates were more accurately reviewed. And so it's a combination of slightly increased time, but also the rates that are being charged accurately reflect what it costs the employee to do their job.
And the last thing that was going to end there, but it kind of makes me think of another thing about the history of this. So 1995, right, where thereabouts, what was the atmosphere that led to us enacting a mobile home park rent control that has not been touched in 30 years? What was going on at that time that caused the Board of Supervisors at that time, and which has never been questioned up until now, to take that action then? I have the answer.
Yeah.
The
I don't have
answer
the
is
institutional knowledge to know that, and I'm not sure if any other staff member would know that.
okay.
I think he knows.
What was going on is across the state, people on fixed incomes, senior citizens, little old ladies and little old men living in mobile home parks, just trying to make ends meet, were getting priced out of their homes. And so our county took this step to protect them. And this small fee that they pay for their own, protecting their own interests, is what keeps that going. Anyway, I'm off of questions now, so I'm out of questions. Thank you very much.
And can I maybe just add too, I kind of want to explain to you also what we do when we send out the registration packets. And so the park owners are reporting back to us what the space rent is per space, whether it's under rent control or not rent control. And so us as staff, we go in and we double check those numbers that are under rent control to make sure that the park owners have actually applied the correct COLA amount to that base rent. So I just want to ensure the public that we're going through and we're checking all of those numbers to make sure that the COLAs have been applied properly. And we also take any type of complaints, and typically we'll take in those complaints, and if it falls under the rent control ordinance, Chris and I will work together to investigate those complaints.
Just the comments that I kind of have, I think the answer to your question on that was it's about a quarter, 25 cents a month in the total increase to defend it. So this is the second time it's come before the board. We tabled it. There were comments made about, well, we don't want to put fees onto the most vulnerable. 25 cents a month to defend that ordinance. We are not talking about something substantial. Even as somebody on a fixed income, and that 25 cents a month is not. I'm fine with us not doing it because it's also a small amount, and maybe we'll budget for that within CDD and be able to help assist it. But the concept, and I guess this is a question too, you mentioned, should we scrap the whole thing altogether? I'm assuming you mean rent control, the whole ordinance, the whole thing.
Well, I didn't say we should. I said maybe we should look at it as maybe we need to come up with something because it says defend in here. So here's one of the issues. Oh, by the way, you didn't table it. You voted it down. So you didn't table this item. This was voted on, and then it came back before council.
We voted down an approval of it, and then I thought we tabled it.
No, you didn't table it. It came back to council saying that there was a conflict, which is why Supervisor Holland had to leave.
Also true, but.
Well, what happened was it was, Supervisor Griefer was absent. It was a 2-2 vote. So there was no action because there was not a majority vote.
Right. Well, okay. Either way, I was interpreting that as it was tabled basically to come back to the next meeting, but either way.
Well, my whole thing is that it was written in 1995. It was enacted, I should say, in 95. There should have been some money set aside. I would be comfortable revisiting this and saying, hey, look, we want to start, if we're really here to start protecting, right, that's the whole goal, right? Because what happens if the county gets hit with a $500,000 lawsuit? We're going to spread $500,000 out over 861 people, lots, or the county's going to eat it. That's how it's written, right? So that's, anyone? We have insurance when we're sued. PRISM would likely be consulted. All to say, this is legal fees. These are legal fees. This covers legal fees. So if there's $500,000 in legal fees per the way this is written, then that gets spread out over the 861 people. So I can't justifiably look at someone up in Groveland or in Jamestown or anywhere else saying, hey, sorry, we're going to put this amount onto you because this is the way it is. Now, I'm all for either changing it, scrapping it, redefining it, setting money aside, doing something, helping out with EDD. I thought that was a great idea, CDD, a great idea.
We should comment that these typically would not be covered by our self-insurance. Something typically has to be a claim for damages before self-insurance kicks in. Complaints over this ordinance would typically be a writ of mandamus, which is not damage relief. And we were recently sued, of course. That included writ relief and damages, and we settled to eliminate those damages. So just your board's aware that the amounts of lawsuits would likely be lower, the exposure would be lower, and we'd be likely talking about relief that requires your board to do something or not do something.
Well, and I was only just trying to clarify, and so thank you for clarifying. So it wasn't suggesting to scrap it, but to look at changing and or scrapping it or bringing it back. What I meant to say was we're arguing about whether 25 cents is too much of a burden to put on these residents, but we're entertaining the idea of removing rent control on them, which is, I mean, hundreds of dollars, if not more, on these potential at stake per resident.
No.
Last bit,
I have never said getting rid of rent control.
I should say we're entertaining the idea of changing it. You said we would entertain the idea of potentially scrapping it.
Well, because here's my issue. Again, going back.
No, well, let me, because I let you speak. All I was trying to do is.
You're incorrect, though. That's my point. Is that here it says.
If we bring it back for discussion as an item, we could give direction. As mentioned, it's never been a controversial thing to end the thing, right? If we're discussing what the future of it would be, if we're amending it, that gives the opportunity to scrap it, correct?
Yes.
Right. So what I'm saying is we're entertaining the concept that could be on the table to either change or to scrap it. My last bit is this was decided, and I'd like legal to weigh in, it was about 30 years ago. There's a statute of limitations on the enactment, correct, of this ordinance, that if we were to substantively change it, could it reignite litigation over it?
We would need to research that. We don't know that for sure. We would need to come back with that.
Is there a statute of limitations on the original ordinance having some type of lawsuit? Because in discussions, I mean.
Generally, when your board passes an ordinance, there is a limitations period to challenge it in court. Could be 90 days. But whether or not all changes to an ordinance, whether the scope of what could be challenged, we would need to come back.
Okay. Well, and I'll just close the thought with, if the issue is related to the annual fee, let's do a vote, put money from the budget into it, and eliminate the whole thing. I mean, if that's the issue, what we're talking about on the table right now is a 25-cent per month increase. It's not substantial. So if that's the goal, let's make a cut for how much. I don't know how much is generated by the entire amount recommended. Okay, so we could simply allocate in the budget $18,000, and we'll make cuts to other departments for it, and we'll eliminate this fee altogether. So I mean, if that's where we want to go, I'm okay with that. I think the 25 cents is very reasonable to keep rent control, or maintain and keep rent control. So, I know Supervisor Kirk hasn't spoken, and then if that's fine, I'll return back to Supervisor Griefer. Supervisor Kirk?
Were we on to comments now?
My
or
comments
still
are pretty
questions?
short. My understanding is, once there's a hearing, this litigation will probably be dropped. So I really don't know why it's even before us if we think it's probably going to go away. There probably won't be a fee. So my motion would be to just leave as status quo. And then if we're going to do this year over year, like, we need to have another conversation about if we want to be in the rent control business. I know there's implications, but the little bit of research I did between last meeting and this meeting is it looks like most of the Marin counties, like along the coastline, are the ones who implement this. It's probably because living in a mobile home on the oceanfront property is very, it's its own animal over there. So I don't even know how we got into this to begin with, but this is kind of the result of trying to play fair market or free market games. So I'd rather not even be in. That's another conversation. So my motion would be to leave status quo, and let's get them their hearing and get this litigation dropped.
And I said, and I did, to clarify, what I thought I had said was questions and comments. I think you had heard questions, and so Supervisor Griefer, if you have comments, and then maybe I'll go back to Supervisor Campbell, if that's fine.
Well, we have members of the public here. I'd like to hear what they have to say before I make my.
Is that okay? All right. With that, we will open up public comment on this item. Again, this is for item 13. If any members of the public would like to come up and speak, you'll have 3 minutes. Please come on up. Good, technically still morning.
Yeah, technically. I find it ironic that we're having this discussion in the midst of discussions about economic development. I would say just leave it as is, and then we can have a future discussion about just doing away with this altogether, because rent control is definitely a economic development killer. If I was an investor, which I am, if I was going to be building a mobile home park in Tuolumne County, and then I looked at another area that did not have rent control, which one do you think I would choose? So I think it stifles investment. And I don't believe that the market is going to react in such a way where if we removed our rent control here locally, that all of a sudden every mobile home park in the county is going to double their rent. I just don't see that happening. I would think that they probably aren't going to raise their rents at all. So that's just my opinion. But I would agree with Supervisor Kirk on that particular issue, that we should not be in the business of micromanaging real estate investment and real estate investors. So let the market figure it out. Thank you.
All right, do we have any other comments? Hi, good afternoon.
Hi. Again, Carolyn Travels I live in Tamron Senior Mobile Home Estates. I didn't know or understand what's going on about the process of being sued or whatever is all of this. What I do know is that I came here 10 years ago. I did live here during my high school years. I was born and raised in the mountains. I love the mountains. Been stuck in the city for a long time, and I was so happy to get back to the country. The only thing I could do was try to purchase a mobile home, and I did. Since I've been here, I've found that, well, first of all, I was disabled during this 10 years by an unsafe workplace on a Tuolumne County job program. So now I am not only disabled, I have been absolutely destituted. It is everything I can do to pay my bills every month. My rent on my little tiny piece of ground on which I own the mobile home, blessed to have been able to pay it off before I could no longer work anymore. That rent goes up every time I get a little bit of raise in Social Security. The rent goes up and takes away all of my Social Security raise. And then the sewer goes up and the garbage goes up and everything else. I thank the Lord I was just given a car because my 25-year-old car, I could no longer afford the repairs. But I have to, even with a car that works, I have to watch how many trips I make into town to conserve the gas and how much groceries I can buy, because for a while I was getting EBT. But that was taken away from me when we decided to give housing, food, lodging, medical care to all of the illegal aliens here. So I no longer have anything worthwhile on EBT. I have to budget every red cent every month just to exist. And I can no longer work at anything. I could spend an hour telling you what's happened to me because of my county job on an unsafe workplace.
Great.
Please
Thank you, ma'am.
pass this.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
My name's Mary. I live in Columbia Sky Mobile Home Park. It's a senior community, and it is rent controlled. And I appreciate that. I really do. Because I second that emotion. I try not to get emotional here, but her story is every senior mobile home park is filled with her story and then some. I'm a retired paralegal, so I understand the legal issues and I understand the hourly rates. I'd like to know what they are. I don't necessarily think that's my business at this point in time because of where the discussion is going. So I've edited many things that I was going to address this morning. I think she said it well. It's emotional. You don't want these people on the streets. And we're so close to being on the streets. Millions of dollars are allocated for the homeless. But what are you going to spend to keep us in our homes? Because we're going to cost you more money on the streets, in social services, in whatnot, in a myriad of issues than we are staying in our humble mobile homes. So that's why rent control is so important. And that's why you can't let our park was sold 3 years ago to a corporation that owns over 150 mobile home parks. They look for every trick to raise our rent, every trick to stick it to us. And at any point in time, they could decide to sell that land and pull the rug completely out from under us because the homes are old. We can't move them. I don't know, and
if that ever happens, you'll have a room full of people and many hearings on this issue, and it could happen. And again, litigation, I don't know. I worked plaintiff, I worked defense, I worked insurance defense. We all know how complicated it is, and the mobile home laws are not easy. They are not easy to understand for us and even legal professionals. So I urge you, rent control is so important. The market is down right now. We have lots of homes for sale. But the market will destroy us. And it's going to come around to impact everybody because you don't want, I don't know how many rent control. 861 is not the rent control, it's the total.
I'm sorry, that's the number of spaces that are under rent control in the county.
Oh, okay, so 861. So that's what you're looking at, families, elderly, seniors. But it's a disaster if rent control goes away. That's all I have to say. So I appreciate everything you can do.
Thank you.
To keep it. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other public comment on this item? Good afternoon.
More questions than anything else, but it seems like we have 861 sites, and that would be, what, 18,000 roughly a year in a fee, income coming into the county. To the earlier point, 30 years, we'd have $516,000, and if we had that invested over that period of time, that would be an incredibly large amount of money. So I'm just kind of looking forward. Given we maybe lost that opportunity behind us, but going forward, is there a way to balance out benefits for the public here? Because those monies just went back into the county and went, I guess, into contingency somewhere. I don't know where that dollars went, but they were real dollars that went somewhere. And it doesn't appear like we put it into a fund and we grew it for the off chance that we might have some form of legal action occur. So I think that's maybe would be an interesting part of the conversation. My recommendation would be just leave it the way it is and not increase it at all, or just get rid of it because it's only $18K going into the county, and reduce the administrative overhead. If we could save some time in CDD and reduce administrative overhead of even dealing with it, maybe that's worth just getting rid of it and just betting on that, the probability of illegal action's low, and then the question of whether you want to keep rent control at all becomes maybe the bigger factor here. My recommendation would be just to eliminate it altogether.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. I believe.
Supervisor Brandon, do you mind if I just
Yes.
respond and make just
Sure.
a couple points of clarity? I just wanted to make sure that the board and the public understand that any new park, so there was some comments about new parks, those are not included. So it's only older parks prior to 1990. There was a question about where does the money go when it comes into the county? Does it go into contingencies? It goes into the Community Development Department budget as revenue and is spent as expenses and salary. So it's directly to the time that it takes our staff to manage, as well as county council. And the administrative overhead is driven by the tenants and the park owners. And so we don't set an allotted amount of time to work on the program over the year. It's directly driven by concerns and complaints that are raised by either tenants or park owners. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Supervisor Griefer?
For the record, I am not in any way, shape, or form suggesting we get rid of rent control. I know that's kind of come up twice. What I'm saying is that I think we look at the whole thing, and specifically chapter and verse of this, so that we are taking care of those vulnerable populations. If this board in the future, in the next budget cycle, wants to dedicate $18,000 and alleviate that fee on that vulnerable population, I would have no problem with that. So I think it's government's duty is to make lives of its people easier, and adding fees to already a vulnerable organization or a group of people, I have a hard time with that. So that's where I'm coming from. And it's solely this stupid document. It's just the way it's written, because again, it says several times it was stated to defend this ordinance, but nowhere in the actual chapter 5.28 doesn't say defend. I mean, it says cover legal fees and things like that, but that the verbiage defend, so maybe that's something that we can work on with council down the road to alleviate, but that's kind of where my mindset is.
Well, I think we could clear it up because, again, I misinterpreted then a comment that you had made as openness. I did hear from Supervisor Kirk, and this is not to call out or anything, but only that, like, we might bring this back and see whether this is something we want to continue at all. We can alleviate that lack of clarity. I do not want to entertain any discussion that is ending rent control in the county as an option. I'm open to amendment or discussion on everything. I think we could dispel that by just saying we will not, as a board, consider that. I think the comment that they wouldn't increase rent is incredibly wrong. Having seen some of these large conglomerate, as mentioned, 100, 150 thing parks, they nickel and dime everything. They pass every fee on that they can. They defer maintenance. And every time a COLA happens, they don't have to increase it to the max of the COLA. Have they ever not increased it to the max that they could? And any time, it's always the max, right? Every time that a fee, in fact, that lawsuit is about trying to increase it beyond what's allowed, right? And the speed and whatnot have happened in that. I think if rent control was eliminated, the first thing within 1 month, 2 months maybe, right, 30 days notice, we would have 861 people on the streets, which is 3 times our existing point-in-time study for the homeless population, because most people living in rent-controlled parks have probably under $1,000 in their bank account. All of those groups, the reason we have to indemnify it is because property owners that own those, which are also, they weren't built in 1990. They were at that time, I think, approximately 30 years old, right? When they were entered into that ordinance, they had already had a fair rate of kind of return on the properties. If that's in the weeds, then, they were old parks by that point. They were built, I thought, like in the 50s and 60s, many of them.
I don't know the exact dates of all the parks, but yeah, I mean, we have a few that are after
Right.
1990.
All I'll say is that it doesn't affect the market because new ones aren't necessarily under it. Not all mobile home parks are under it. The ones that are under it are largely seniors, mostly senior parks. And absolutely, those companies would love to price everybody out of there because they're not great customers, right? They call and they have issues because there's not enough money in their account. They complain whenever all these fees are passed on to them. They don't pay a lot of money. They'd love to charge $2,000 per spot at market rate for Forest Service worker housing and healthcare. They would love to get rid of everybody. We made an ordinance that basically said it's not about for that just purely making money. It's about keeping people in their homes. So 3 times the homeless population. I will not consider anything that threatens rent control on mobile homes in the county. If we don't want to do this fee, that's fine. I could, the 25 cents, I would agree. We can just put that into the budget. We'll find it from some other spot. I'm not willing to jeopardize the whole thing over what to me is, I would be in support, but small potatoes. Supervisor Campbell?
Yeah. So there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on here, but I hope that we keep focus on what the facts are about what we're discussing here. And if you rent in a mobile home park, I hope you are listening to this and paying attention, and you should be terrified that we are even entertaining a discussion about getting rid of rent control for mobile home parks. I have 4 in my district, 3, 4, depending on how you slice it up, but I have 4 mobile home parks in my district, several residents, and they're all on fixed incomes, and they all need help to pay their rents. And I ask you, if you are living in a mobile home park and if you're paying rent, do you trust your the company or the individual or the management of your mobile home park to not increase your rent if they had the chance, if the county got rid of rent control? I don't think a lot of people would say that they do. Just look at the facts of what we're discussing here. We have a supervisor recused because he owns a mobile home park. We're talking, and now the discussion has become about getting rid of rent control. We are also talking about a $3.50 increase over the course of a year. So this is not about money. It's not about applying an onerous fee onto people that are on fixed incomes. This is about making cracks into this rock solid understanding that the county has existed on, that we need rent control for people who live mobile home parks that's existed for 30 years. As I said, never questioned before. Think of any board member in the history from then till now. This has been an entirely routine action that the board has taken because it's been universally understood as a huge benefit to our residents. And so I'm in favor of keeping the fee, keeping it status quo, as many have said. I'm not sure if we're interpreting status quo the same way, but what I'm saying is we should pass the proposed action as it is, because, and I talk to, and I say this to the people that are renting mobile homes, this is paying for services that you've received and that you have benefited from. So it's a $3.50 increase that has prevented your mobile home management from giving you a 100%, who knows? Because believe me, I do not trust that you would not see a huge increase if these protections were ever removed. And I don't think anybody that lives in a mobile home park would disagree with me there. So I just, it boggles my mind that we've gone off on this tangent and talked about all the different elements about where the money goes. It's paying for services that have already existed. It does not make sense to put it into a special account because if you think of it that way, it doesn't matter whether it's in a special account or whether it's used on a case-by-case basis because you're getting the same benefit over a period of time. To me, these are all distractions. They're all distractions. What you need to look at is that it's a $3.50 increase over the course of a year to keep your rents low. That is what this is about, and that's the basic of the argument, and I agree with it. I think this should have stayed on the consent agenda 2 weeks ago, and that we should have moved along and not even had this long a discussion, but here we are. So that's my view on it. I am never going to support removing rent control for some of our poorest citizens in our community, and that's just, I mean, if I ever, I would have a room full of people lined out the door wanting to tar and feather me. If I ever did that, and they'd be right, because I'm here to protect their interests and to make sure that they can continue to live and prosper in my district.
Supervisor Kirk, Supervisor Grieford. Otherwise, I'd be looking for a motion.
Well, I'd like to rebut basically everything that Supervisor Campbell just said. I am at no point have I said at all that we're getting rid of rent control. All I said was a very short little quip of maybe we just need to look at the whole thing, right? And then it went off down the rabbit hole. So you two are talking about smoke and mirrors. You two are the ones who are just going off on it.
I heard you say scrap.
You said scrap.
I said,
rent
or
control.
potentially, right? Look at. I didn't say get rid of. I didn't say, you look at it. This is my whole issue brings us all the way back to square one, as it says to defend. My concern is that we're charging a certain amount to a group of vulnerable people. And if our job is to defend this, and there was extreme legal fees, my concern is that those legal fees are either going to be absorbed by the county or it's going to be absorbed by the people that are under this umbrella. If we want to pay the $18,000 as a service to the people and stop charging them, I'd be all for that. Okay. At no point have I ever said get rid of rent control.
And I apologize, correct, for misinterpreting. I said the way that you used the word scrap.
But then you did it again, and then now Supervisor Campbell's hammering away, saying
I said
that this is all distractions. Hold on, I'm not done. Stop.
Mentioned.
Right?
Kirk mentioned it. We've heard
what he said.
There's been a lot of discussion about getting rid of it, and it's based off the meeting.
What he said
2 weeks ago
was, should we be in the rent control business? That's what he said, and that's a valid question that government should always look at. And if the answer is yes, then we stick to it. I have no problem with that, right? But we should always be reevaluating. We should always be looking at policies. We should always be looking at procedures. And the reason this is before us now is because nothing has happened since 1995, and here we are. So the question is important that we just say, hey, is it broken? And if not, don't fix it. If we can do better for the people by the county absorbing that cost, I'd be okay with that. Well, I'm all for leaving it as is. Let's leave it at the $14 as is. Let's have county council come back, reevaluate whether or not we need to make changes to this ordinance, and if not, then we just move on. I mean, that's really all I'm asking, is that I'm concerned that somebody somewhere in one of our districts is going to get hit with a rate increase because there was a lawsuit sometime that we failed to protect. That's it.
Supervisor Kirk?
Well, it's lunchtime. I rebut a little bit too. I mean, Ryan, I kind of feel like you're putting us in a boat where we're trying to make things political. And to Griefer's point, yeah, has this come before our board year after year after year? Yes. And it's nobody's board priority to start uncovering our rent control ordinance. But I've never been in favor, theoretically, of any sort of rent control. So now that this is before us and there's litigation and we got to talk about how we're going to pay for it, that's why we're discussing it. So my comments, like Griefer said, are broader. You and Jaron want to do rent control, but if for 30 years, if we didn't have rent control and we didn't have some of these theories in our county and we had, things are better in CDD now, but if we had 30 years of growth in allowing businesses and allowing builders to keep up with inflation, we would probably have twice as many mobile home parks. So that 800 would be, so it's all theory. And that's my point, is I don't think we should have ever gotten in rent control. And to tell people that they should be terrified, I mean, that's like politics 101. Look at all the other counties that don't do rent control. They're not having this issue either. So it's not a scare tactic. It's just a reality. I wish we would go get the facts from the other counties. I spent a little bit of time. Most of them, like I said, are on the marine counties. They're on the coastal counties who implement this. And for obvious reasons, you can have a mobile home with $1 million view. So I think we just need to end this conversation. There's not agreement. So I think we just need to get agreement that we should leave it status quo. We should cover it. And if somebody wants to make it a board priority to bring this conversation back about rent control, go for it. But it's not a priority for me. I'm just saying, if we're going to do this year after year, then it might be worth the conversation next year. So my motion would be to leave as is status quo, and the county will cover the costs. And I think between now and then, anyways.
To clarify, leaving it as a status quo, because we kind of had that mentioned two terms. I think what you're saying, Supervisor Kirk, is leaving it at the $14 fee, which is not approving the $21 or the $7 increase on that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would we vote on that, or would that just be basically voting this change down? Because it is already status quo, right? Do we need to update it for any other reason? Mike?
Sorry. The ordinance requires your board to update the fee every year. So even if it's a status quo, we'd request a motion and a vote on that.
So we have a motion on the table from Supervisor Kirk, I believe would be to go on this, and it would be reducing it or not changing it to 21, but to $14 as an annual fee, correct? Right. All right. So we have a first there by Supervisor Kirk. We have a second by Supervisor Griefer.
Just a question, where would the balance then come from? Because we've already paid, that money has already been spent.
That's up for budget to figure out.
Yeah.
Where would that money come from?
And I think the answer, it would come from budget somewhere.
Yeah,
either a cut or
we would have
from CDD.
So CDD has a ceiling of, for now we're looking at next fiscal year. We have a ceiling of what our cut is, 15%. And so in order to maintain that ceiling, we would have to cut in another expense line. We'd have to cut somewhere else in order to make up that cost and propose that to your board, and your board would have to approve it. So and I said this 2 weeks ago, it doesn't seem like a lot of money to your board. That those are training for, it's training, it's code books, it's other things for our staff. If you make, and as one of your supervisors said, you cut it from somewhere else in the budget. Another department pays for it.
Okay. So with that understanding, let's see, we will call the vote. Supervisor Holland is recused. Supervisor Campbell?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk?
Aye.
Supervisor Griefer?
To keeping it at 14.
It's approving this at 14. Yes.
Aye at 14.
And then I vote aye, so it passes 4-0 unanimously. And thank you, and hopefully, I guess good discussion on it. I don't want to take anybody and misinterpret it. I think it's just trying to have a conversation. So I'm glad we're in agreement that is not what we're looking at when talking about. So, okay, with that, I believe we're going to be going into item 12, correct? Do we anticipate finishing that? Oh, actually, because I need to go meet with Caltrans regarding some transportation projects. To hand it off if we're doing lunch or however. Good luck.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, what's the feeling of the board? I guess Supervisor Holland can come back, yeah. So I'll delay making a judgment on that. I believe this presentation will be, how long do you think it will be, Tammy?
10?
Okay,
I'm good. I mean, I can power through.
all right.
I just
And
don't want
then-
council angry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we look at,
So that's not a problem to go through this presentation. The closed sessions, I'd ask that they be done after lunch so that we can take a break and be prepared for the 4 closed sessions we have.
okay, so if we can do, this is the last public item we have. So I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and do that and then have lunch and come back for closed session. So we can read the closed session items after we're done with this, but then we'll go into lunch. Does that work for everybody? Okay, I'm not hearing much, so. All right, so Ms. Miller, would you please read item 12?
And with that,
Item number 12, annual update presentation from Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Advisory Board.
Oh, wait, 1 second. Yeah, just 1 second. So, good afternoon, Chairman,
pseudo-chamber.
Vice Chair Campbell.
Vice Chair Campbell, you guys are mixing it up this morning. Behavioral Health Director Tammy Mariscal. I have a member of our Mental Health Advisory Board with me today, Maureen Woods, who will be providing the board the Behavioral Health Advisory Board's annual report as part of their role and responsibilities under WIC, Welfare Institution Code 5604.2. And with that, I will hand it over to Maureen.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Oh, okay. Good afternoon, members of the board. Kathy Peacock, also a Behavioral Health Advisory Board member, did hope to be here today. She was part of the work group that compiled this report, and unfortunately, in the 11th hour, she wasn't able to join me, so I am pleased to be with you today to present the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Advisory Board annual report to you and the community. The comprehensive 19-page report is included in your meeting packet. Obviously, for practical purposes, this will be a scaled-down version, which will include a summary of our activities, our accomplishments, and the challenges that both the board and the Behavioral Health Department continue to face. So basically, I'm going to let you know what we've been up to since our last report back in October 2023. The Welfare and Institution Code of the State of California provides the authority for the 59 behavioral health advisory boards in California. Some of those mandated duties include reviewing and evaluating the community's public behavioral health needs, services, and facilities where mental health or substance use disorder services are being provided. Advising the governing body and the local behavioral health department or behavioral health director as to any aspect of the local program. Reviewing county behavioral health contracts, reviewing and commenting on the county's performance outcome data, and communicating its findings to the California Behavioral Health Planning Council, and conducting a public hearing on the county's Mental Health Services Act 3-year program and their expenditure plan and annual update. Going on to slide 4, the composition of the advisory board. As for our composition, we must comply with the Welfare and Institutions Code, which specifically outlines the membership profile. For instance, 50% of the board must be consumers of service or family members of consumers. We strive to recruit new members who reflect the diversity of the local client population. Diverse membership includes ethnic, racial, cultural, LGBTQ+, veterans, and transitional age youth 18 to 25 years of age. Our next slide, meet our members. Okay. The Behavioral Health Advisory Board currently has 8 members with 1 alternate Board of Supervisors representative. These dedicated people volunteer their time to ensure that quality behavioral health services are available to those in need. Please read the annual report for each member's detailed biography. It's this one, right? Okay. The Behavioral Health Advisory Board meets the first Wednesday of each month from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Tuolumne County Francisco Building, right across the street from us here on Yaney Avenue. And we're always eager to have community members join us. So please keep that in mind. The board is committed to maintaining optimum communication with all county and community-based organizations serving behavioral health clients. Accordingly, we were delighted to host Dan Hawks, the Chief Probation Officer, as our guest speaker to discuss collaborative efforts between our respective departments. And this past September, Marissa Karatakia, I hope I pronounced her name properly, Karatakia, she's the Behavioral Health Director of the Tuolumne Miwok Indian Health Center, joined us. Additionally, board members attended community events and meetings to keep updated on mental health and substance use disorder programs, activities, and services throughout the county. We invite you and the community to visit our updated webpage, which includes an interactive calendar of behavioral and community events. Just last month, the final site visit report on Aegis Treatment Center on Pauline Court was reviewed and approved. After providing input for new supportive housing property on Parrots Ferry Road, we were pleased to tour the property and held our July 2024 meeting on site. That property is reaching full tenant capacity. Our monthly meetings not only included updates on overall budgetary matters and departmental happenings, but also provided training and presentations on relevant programs such as outreach to Camp Justice residents, the Felony Incompetent to Stand Trial pilot program, cultural competency and inclusiveness standards, and the mental health diversion program. And of course, there's always and forever the required reports and surveys. Therefore, to meet our legal mandate, we reviewed performance outcome data and reported our findings to the California Behavioral Health Planning Council for inclusion in their data notebook survey. And there's the challenges. In the upcoming months, the current Behavioral Health Advisory Board will be transitioning from a mental health focus board to becoming a behavioral health focus board, which includes emphasis on substance use disorder. Consolidating the board's focus mirrors the Behavioral Health Department's efforts in becoming a drug Medi-Cal certified provider and the requirements of the Department of Health Care Services for mental health plans to operate through an integrated contract. The current 8 members of the advisory board, along with the Director of Behavioral Health, will be recruiting additional representatives with substance use disorder experience to meet our new board composition requirements. Board members will be focusing on updating our bylaws to reflect the newest revisions to the Welfare and Institutions Code. CalAIM is a new statewide initiative that aims to create a more coordinated, person-centered, and equitable health system by addressing both physical and mental health needs, as well as the social determinants of health. The board hopes to benefit from more education surrounding CalAIM requirements. Behavioral Health Department highlights. The Behavioral Health Department has accomplished much over the course of the last year, from housing to early implementation of new requirements. Their accomplishments were many. Some of those highlights are listed on this slide. There is so much more included within your packet of the annual report. Challenges of the Behavioral Health Department. The Behavioral Health Department continues to experience issues with staff recruitment, lack of available affordable housing to support clients transitioning back into our community, funding decreases, and program and fiscal changes due to Proposition 1. Overall, the department works hard to prepare for possible shifts in funding requirements, but the unknown future for existing programs is impactful. There's more detailed information available within this year's annual report. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's yet one more wonderful opportunity to acknowledge the service and dedication of the entire Behavioral Health Department staff. To Tammy Mariscal and the leadership team of the Behavioral Health Department that is continually training the staff and the Behavioral Health Advisory Board and guiding them through the complex system of mental health care. To the staff who tirelessly serve the clients of the community and keep the Behavioral Health Advisory Board updated on issues and concerns. To the Board of Supervisors representatives on the Behavioral Health Advisory Board for your active participations, your guidance, and your advocacy. To the guest speakers and the community members who attend our monthly meetings, generously sharing information and support. And finally, to Pandora Armbruster for her assistance in preparing, organizing, and formatting this presentation, and her invaluable, and I'm going to say it again, her invaluable administrative support for all aspects of the Behavioral Health Advisory Board meetings and all of the related activities. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much for
If you
that
have any
presentation and
questions,
for
I
your
would be
efforts.
happy to try to answer them or refer to Tammy here.
Thank you very much. Questions from supervisors? Mike, any questions? Okay. Supervisor Kirk? Okay. I don't have any questions either. So I will look to see if there's any public comment on this presentation. Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any comments?
Outstanding work. It's work that I know I couldn't do. I appreciate all the effort, both my colleagues as well as the staff, as well as all the volunteers. It's great. Like I said earlier in the meeting, this is a great place to live because everybody comes together and just outstanding work. So compliments to my colleagues and then the staff as well as the people who take part in it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Supervisor Holland has.
Oh,
he does speak.
Oh. So I was reading some of your guys' department highlights. Are you guys finding success in some of these programs? I noticed like the IST one. Is that working? Are you guys having people participate in it? Is it going well, going bad? What's your guys' highlights on that?
You know, I would say it's going well. You know, it's probably one of the most complex populations that we provide treatment to. It's fairly new as far as a holdout of identified population, new as in about 3 years now. And we are working very well with the Department of State Hospitals, which is our partner in that. So between behavioral health, the Department of State Hospitals, and your local jail, I believe that we have quite the system going, and so far so good.
Are a lot of people using it? Do you have numbers on data on it?
I do not have numbers right now. I could absolutely come back and present those numbers to you.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, thanks.
All right.
Good
Thank
work.
you very much. And thank you, Maureen. You did a great job.
Oh, my pleasure, thank you.
And then, yeah, I agree with the comments. I'm assuming Supervisor Kirk, you don't have a hand up, so do you want to take it away? Or?
I was just going to say thank you to staff and Maureen. She seems like a very sweet lady, so thank you for your time on the board there.
Yeah, I agree. Maureen is a very nice lady. And I just really appreciate the work that has gone into this annual report. I'm honored to be able to participate in behavioral health meetings, and I can tell you that that's one of the smartest, most effective, hardest working committees that this county has, because if you look at all of the oversight that goes into behavioral health from the state, it's basically every single dollar that goes into behavioral health has strings attached, or you're handcuffed in how you can use it, and then the state comes back and says, oh, you get this amount of money, but now we want you to do 10 other things with that pot of money. So a lot of times the pie stays the same size, but slices keep getting taken away from it. And you guys manage that amazingly. And everything that people say at these meetings is directed on how best to serve the community and make life better for people with mental health disorders, with substance use disorders, all of the things that behavioral health covers. So it's just really an encouraging committee. I'm glad to be a part of it because I get energized talking with you all, and I know that this report took a lot of time and energy, but I'm grateful that we have you there to do that. So please share those comments with the committee and your support from the board. Thank you. Okay, so we will move on from item 12. That's the last of the regular agenda items. Trying to see, we do not have reports on the agenda, so we will not do reports. Am I correct? I don't see it. So I'll look to Nicole. Could you please read? We have 4 closed session items. We'll go into lunch, and then afterward we'll come back and into closed session.
Item number 14, closed session, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, Authority Government Code 54956.9D2, one case. Item number 15, closed session, conference with labor negotiators, Roger Root, Acting County Administrator, Liz Peterson, Deputy County Administrator, Karen McGettigan, Human Resources Director / Risk Manager, and Deb Schuman, Human Resources Manager. Authority Government Code Section 54957.6, all bargaining units. Item number 16, closed session, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Authority Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Tori Mooney versus County of Tuolumne, Tuolumne County Superior Court, case number CV 66464. Item number 17, closed session, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code, Section 54956.9D2, one case. See attached letter from County Counsel regarding the threat of litigation as required pursuant to Fowler versus City of Lafayette, 46 Cal App 5th 360.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on any of these 4 items for closed session? Okay, I see no public comment. Council, do you expect to report out on any of these items?
Yes, on item 16.
Item 16, okay. All right, so for the benefit of our recording team, they'll have to be here for us to report out, or is that?
I think that's usually our practice.
All right, well, that's how we'll do it then. Okay, so we will,
Hey, Ryan,
yes.
what about that one item we were going to table? Do we need to address that now or after?
No, at the end of the meeting, when we come back to report out, is
Okay.
when we'll do the order of adjournment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we will go into closed session. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go into closed session at 1:30. All right, thank you. Okay, greetings and welcome back. The Board of Supervisors has returned from closed session on item 14. We have nothing to report. On item 15, nothing to report. On item 16, Supervisor Griefer moved and Supervisor Holland seconded, and by a vote of 4-0 with Supervisor Brandon absent, the board approved the county council to continue to defend the county and any named employee in the matter of Torrey Mooney versus Tuolumne County Superior Court case number CV6464, personal injury action related to the plaintiff's incarceration in the county jail. The board approves submittal of the matter to for determination of insurance coverage and tender the defense of PRISM. And the board approved a retainer agreement with the law firm Porter Scott to defend the county in this matter. And on item 17, there is nothing additional to report. So with that, all of the items today are concluded with the exception of the 10 a.m. appointment for.
That was pulled.
Or I'm sorry, no.
It's like item number 5.
Yeah, item number 5. And what I'd like to do is I'll go ahead and make the motion that the Board of Supervisors meeting for May 20th will adjourn to May 21st at 9 a.m. to be held in the Board of Supervisors chambers here at 2 South Green Street, Sonora, and that will be my motion, that we adjourn and continue that last item.
I'll second that we continue the meeting.
Okay, so we have a motion by Supervisor Campbell, second by Supervisor Holland.
Wait, I think it's item number 3. I know we said 5, but this is the Yeah, I gave you bad intel. It's item number 3.
That's okay. So this is the item approving the general contracting professional services for repairs and improvements to the transitional housing project on Snell Street for $225,000 with a total not to exceed amount of $265,000 and authorize the county administrator to sign. That's the item we're talking about, number 3.
Yes, sir.
We will continue that till tomorrow, May 21st at 9 a.m. right here at the board. That's my motion, and I have a second by
I will second it.
Supervisor Holland. And since I do not think we have anybody online, I will call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 3-0 with 2 absent. Okay, and with that, we will adjourn till tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I got thumbs in the back there from IT. We got thumbs from legal counsel and clerk, and everything's good? All right, everything's great. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being able to attend. We do have one item. We have 2 board meetings, technically. We have an adjourned meeting item from yesterday. This is related to the Snell Street house. This was item 3 on yesterday's agenda packet. That will be what we're opening with first, to have a presentation. It's similar subject matter, but it will technically be a different meeting. We may have the action on that later in the day, but we want to be able to go through, and then we'll be opening up our actual May 21st, 9 a.m. meeting in a little bit. Hopefully sound good? Yeah? Getting head nods? Okay, good. We also have, at the beginning of the meeting here, I guess we have to open it before we do the 2449, right?
Correct.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so with that, welcome. We will call to order the adjourned meeting from yesterday on item 3. This would be technically the meeting of May 20th on the Snell Street house. And with that, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. And how about Annie, will you lead us in it? All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll open up, since we will technically have two meetings. Council, do we need to do oral communications for the first meeting, or is it acceptable to do one oral communications for the second?
Just the agenda for this, because the only item from yesterday was item 3. And the other thing we want to take care of is Supervisor Kirk's appearance remotely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. So in line with AB 2449, we have declaration for Supervisor Kirk being able to tune in remotely and following some of the procedures on remote attendance. So Supervisor Kirk.
Yeah, thank you. I got pretty sick over the weekend, thought it was the flu, but then found out it was something else. So I notified Roger and Sarah on Sunday once I realized I wouldn't be able to make it to these meetings. I am on the mend, but am appreciative of being able to do this via Zoom yesterday and today. If you guys are good with it, I think after today, tomorrow, I'll be back up and running. So thank you. And I am in my house. I'm up in my attic. My wife homeschools 4 children. So if you hear pots and pans and kids screaming in the background, that's what it is. And if you see me looking this way, I set up my dual screen today. Yesterday, it was hard bouncing between one screen to look at things. So if you see my face looking this way, it's because I'm looking at the items that will be presented today and following along. So unless there's any other questions, thank you guys.
All right. And thank you. And I believe you get 2 free, but on the third one, we put you in a bubble for the meeting. So get better. We'll bring it back to the Board of Supervisors. We have to look for a motion to approve of the remote attendance under AB 2449 of Supervisor Kirk.
I'll make a motion we approve Supervisor Kirk.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right. We have a first by Supervisor Holland. We have a second by Supervisor Griefer. Public comment. I felt it. I felt the glare. Sorry on that. Sometimes it's a more procedural thing and you forget. We'll open up public comment on this item. If anybody has any comments related to this, please step up at the podium. You'll have 3 minutes. John, good morning.
Is this a public meeting that I can comment on, or just on this item?
This is on just this item. We'll be having oral communications, the general one, right after this in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Seeing no further public comment, we will close that. We have a first by Supervisor Holland, a second by Supervisor Griefer. We'll go through, I guess. So Supervisor Holland?
Yay.
Supervisor Campbell? Supervisor Griefer?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk? I think I went out of order there.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So that is unanimous and approved as well. So with that, will the clerk read our tabled item number 3 from yesterday?
Item number 3, approving a general contracting professional services agreement with Fender Construction, Inc. for repairs and site improvements at the transitional housing project on Snell Street for $225,000 and a total not to exceed amount of $265,000, and authorize the county administrator to sign all related documents.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. So happy to answer any questions. Essentially what is outlined in the board memo is the action we are asking for today. We do have this item in particular on the next item to talk in details, but I'm happy to jump ahead and answer any questions. Essentially we have a contractor ready to go for the Snell Street property that is funded through the ERF grant. And so we are seeking board approval to approve that and get started on the construction. So happy to answer any questions related to that.
Okay, wonderful. And just to clarify, so that is basically accepting the contract for work specifically, and then later we're going to talk about all projects and kind of strategy and all of that, so.
So this would be approving the contract with Fender Construction to start the actual renovations of that property.
Wonderful. And so bringing it back to the board, if, since we're immediately after going to go into a larger discussion, just because it can easily do that, let's keep it just to the contract, and then we'll talk about everything after my request. Supervisor Holland, did you?
Well, I thought we were going to vote on the contract after the other discussion.
Yeah, we're going to see if there's any questions or comments.
No, for now, it's
You had that look in your eye, you know?
just watching you.
Okay. Supervisor Griefer?
What he said.
Supervisor Campbell?
Yeah, I do have a question, but I'd probably save it until
Okay.
after the larger discussion. Well, okay, I'll just ask you. Could you, you mentioned ERF grants. Could you explain what those are? How can the money, what are the strings attached and restrictions to spending those type of funds?
So yeah, I'm happy to dig into that. That was certainly a
You don't
plan.
have to dig into it, just do you want to do that later?
I think
Okay.
it flows well later, but happy to
Okay,
jump ahead if that's the.
Let's go with the flow. That's often my motto. And I'll just put a bug in everybody's ear to listen up for ERF. So, thank you.
And I don't see a hand up from Supervisor Kirk. Just returning it to the board overall. So this was a tabled item from yesterday. We can vote on it. It's limited to the contract, or we can effectively table this, reopen the meeting that's supposed to be today, and then we will reopen this meeting after that meeting. Clear as mud.
I thought Sarah said both meetings were just going to go on at the same time. And we'll just
Yeah,
vote on
both
it.
meetings should be open at the same time, and then you can come back to item 3 after you've heard the staff presentation and public comment and all the questions, and then take action on that item. Then we'll close both at the same time, I think.
Okay. Sounds like want to open up the other meeting, and we'll do the vote later.
Yeah.
All right. Without any opposition to that, then so moved, and we will open up and table that item.
The project is anticipated to take 4 months to complete. And I think you've heard a lot of other information about that, so I'll pause and field any other questions that you have.
Okay, are there any additional questions from board members? And then I'll ask for public comment on this once more. No questions. Supervisor Kirk, I can't see you, so if you have a question, chime in. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. So the purchase, I'll ask a couple questions. So the purchase price was $565,000. That seems like a pretty good deal for 2 homes, right? And then the repairs are for drainage, the roof,
Drainage and a roof.
and what else?
Let me look. I think some paving. I think there's a paving component of it as well.
For parking, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Shouldn't say yeah.
Okay. And then so that was a bid that went out, and then which, was it your department that assessed whether that was a fair value for that bid?
Our department was not part of that process. I can tell you that the original bid went out a while back. All bids came in well above what we thought, or what the team thought was appropriate, and so it was reissued. There hence some of the delay, and then it was the project that was selected.
Okay, and how, who and how do we assess whether a bid that comes back from an RFP is a fair market value for the work that we're asking private
I think
contractors?
Sarah's going to take that one.
Well, just in general, this is a public works project, so we're following the public contract code, and so we have to go to the lowest responsible bidder. So that's how the process is. And I don't recall who exactly was in it. I might be able to find that out if you want to know more information.
I'm just trying to go through that this is a normal process for these types of things.
Correct.
So, and I'm a rhetorical question here. Who establishes the public contract code for us? Is this something that the Board of Supervisors has control over?
No.
Okay. And so we're hemmed in by the rules of the public contract code to go with the highest bidder and pay prevailing wage.
Lowest bidder.
Sorry, go.
The other way.
Yeah.
You don't have it anymore.
The lowest responsible bidder. Okay. So, I mean, hopefully that provides a picture. I have heard from comments about not just this project, but other projects about how expensive they are, and I agree. And it's unfortunate that we are held to a standard that that paints a picture that counties are not being responsible with their money, because I can tell you everybody that I know that works in the department wants to get their projects done for the cheapest possible cost, just like anybody else would, getting a deck built or getting a driveway repaved. And so anyway, all that to say that I understand the frustration. So
Supervisor Campbell?
Yes, sir.
You asked about what they were doing. She gave me the bid list.
Yeah.
So they're going to do some grading, they're going to do a storm drain, they'll do some paving, some concrete, some carpentry work, which is probably on the roof, probably dry rot, some insulation, re-roof, and that's for both those buildings. That's what it is.
What he said.
Okay. Okay, so I don't have any more questions and no more questions here. I will open it up to public comment. And am I also opening it up to Zoom public comment?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good to know. All right, any public comment on the Snell Street project? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. So we're looking for, you're asking us to approve the RFP?
The
So moved.
contract and authorize the CAO to sign all required documents.
Okay,
So moved again.
okay. Do I have a second? I will second.
I'll second.
Oh, okay. I'll give it to Supervisor Kirk because he's. All right, so I have a motion and a second. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do a roll call vote.
Aye.
Supervisor Holland.
Aye.
I'll do myself because I'm District 2. Supervisor Campbell, I say aye. District 3 would be Supervisor Kirk.
Aye.
District 4 is Supervisor Griefer. Aye. And then District 5 is Supervisor Brandon, who is absent. So we have 4 ayes, 0 noes, and 1 absence. Okay. Is there any other matter that we have left unresolved from yesterday? Okay. All right. Well, then we will adjourn yesterday's meeting. This has to be
The
a
longest
record
meeting.
for the longest meeting that I've participated in. This is more than 24 hours. So.
Just wait till someone pulls up the video and they go, 24 hours?
Yeah.
I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I hope they just didn't leave the cameras running. Thank you very much for everyone being here. It's been a long meeting, but we appreciate the participation.